Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Game Junction Podcast. I'm Mark, here with Brandon as well. How's it going?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Not too bad. It's another Friday, another podcast. Hopefully everybody that's watching is having a good start to their week.
Yeah, I'm still.
Or weekend. I'm sorry, it's Friday, it's the end of the week.
Yeah, for sure. Still having my 50-90 troubles, which is a little frustrating. But we do have some breaking news for you to talk about, I guess, real quick.
Breaking, if you want to call it that. For the time being, PlayStation PSN's down. Not too surprising. Hopefully they get it up here pretty quickly.
Yeah, obviously for the audio listeners, it probably won't be relevant anymore. But
no, not even close.
I've been checking. I just checked 1 minute ago. It's still down. So it's been down for over an hour, which is unusual, with no answers from Sony themselves as to why, and you can't even log into your account. So it's not just you can't log in at all. Like even mobile, I tried mobile and I couldn't log in.
You'll hear from them once it's back up, or they're just not going to answer. I don't think it really benefits them to come out and say anything unless it's going to be down for 6-7 hours plus.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not another DDoS attack or something like that, because this has happened several times with Sony over the years. I remember the very first time it happened, and it was like huge deal.
It's like once a year type
thing.
It
seems like once a year, which is one too many times. So
yeah, right.
Oh man.
I mean, there's only so much, not a whole lot you can do about it. Just a bunch of kids who have nothing better to do with their lives. So.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the way I'll put at it.
Obviously, it's do with the podcast. Make sure you have the high resolution audio turned on. I think I hear a little crispness to your voice, but should be good. I just turned mine on. Yeah, so I guess we'll just go ahead and dive into. Anything else going on for the week for you? Anything happen? Pick anything up or?
I picked some stuff up last weekend. I haven't had any free time this week, so that's just been my week. Busy working.
Yeah, it's
the grind never stops.
Been a long week this week. I guess not necessarily bad, just a long week. So
it happens. It's the consequences of needing to be an adult, unfortunately.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, so what do we got first on the agenda?
I was going to head into it. So apparently Rocksteady's working on a new Batman game right now. I don't know if there's going to be another Arkham game or something similar to what the Suicide Squad. Arguably,
it's supposed to be another Arkham
not like Suicide Squad, but yeah, all we know officially is that they're working on a single player Batman game. The assumption is that it's going to be an Arkham-like game at the very least.
So I do have to give it to them that their only flop was the Suicide Squad, because right after that, Batman Arkham VR came out and is beloved by everybody, saying it's potentially the best VR game of all time, the most immersive, has a good story, gameplay is really good. I haven't got to play it personally because I don't have a MetaQuest 3, but they did a really good job with that.
That's because the only issue with that one.
What is it?
No, I was gonna say the only problem with that is it's a VR game, so it's not like they're breaking the bank.
Yeah. As far as if you ask me, I like all the Arkham games. Even Origins, it's my least favorite, but I still like it. I played Blackgate on the Vita and 3DS as well. So I like all of them. I think they're really, really good games. So this is exciting news for me. It looks like we're probably still pretty far out. But yeah, I think maybe they probably learned a lesson from Suicide Squad, thankfully, because that was just a terrible thing. To even tie it to the franchise was disgusting.
It's simple. Don't make bad games.
It's
and you'll make money.
And why did
give the people what they want?
Arkham games, why? Why did you have to make it an Arkham game? Why can't you make it a standalone game?
To be fair, you could just retcon it out of existence, because it's not like the games before it have any ties to it, and the game that comes after it could just ignore it outright.
That's true.
You just retcon it out of existence.
My favorite part about this, though, is that it's rumored to be Batman Beyond related. Since we've gone through kind of the story of Batman of what they wanted to tell in this makes a lot of sense to do. It makes a lot of sense when you think about it. And Batman Beyond is my favorite Batman. So like I really want to see that, but I don't know if you remember like the classic cartoon
I
or
mean,
any of the comics. Like it was just it's next level. Bruce Wayne's still in it, of course. You got Terry that's taken over as Batman. I thought the suit design was better. It's just a classic to me. So I would love to see that in video game form. It could work very, very well. Obviously, we've seen them do good work with these games. So, and you don't even have
I
to
mean,
be a
it wouldn't be.
enjoy these games.
I mean, it wouldn't be bad to tie it in with Batman Beyond. I don't know how if you're gonna tie it in with the animation style, you could still keep it the way the old Arkham game looks. Just
Yeah,
different
like a gritty
story, different
Batman
direction, and
Beyond
stuff
game.
like that.
Because I don't
Yeah,
know if you remember from the cartoon, but that was a very, very. It was more intense than like the '90s Batman animation series. It was actually a really gritty,
yeah.
dark show. Like it was
No, it really is.
futuristic, but very gritty and very dark, and it was pretty crazy. Now, actually thinking about it, so like it could really work for this.
Yeah, because what it aired from like 99 to 01. Rotten Tomatoes got it at a 94 for the audience rating, so
It's
it's
a great
obviously a
show.
really good, really well received show.
Still
Back
holds
before they
up. I
decided
watched
to
some of it again a few years ago.
just take a dump. A
Yeah.
decade before DC decided to just wanted to crap the bed.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been doing that forever
I
with
hope
their
this is
live action stuff, but
I mean, we got to know at this point that they are still going to do something with the Arkham games. So I do like fully believe this. Whether it's the Batman Beyond thing, I don't know that yet. But they obviously are continuing it because Batman Arkham VR just came out like a few months ago. It's like they obviously want to continue doing this, and that is a game that ties itself into all the other games. So it's not just like a throwaway VR game. Like people are buying the headsets just for that game because they're Arkham fans. So I think that
yeah,
and it's one I really want to play. I've actually thought about getting the MetaQuest 3 too as well, just for this game specifically, because I really do want to play it. Which at some point I will. I think I want to wait on the next MetaQuest headset since we're so close to it now at this point. But yeah, I really want to play it, and I think it's a good move on their part. Hopefully they learned from Suicide Squad, and that's my hope on that.
that's the hope. I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one though.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to
They're
see what happens.
like everything else. They're gonna have to prove themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
But we also got some news that on perfectly timed for Valentine's Day, we're getting Wario Land 4, which is coming to Nintendo Switch Online. Which I don't know if I've never played any of the Wario Land games before. Is this one that you've played before? Or?
I have played this game probably as a kid, not as an adult. I played and probably beat this game about 20 times because it was one of like, I don't know, 10 or so GBA games I had. Like I didn't have that many.
You always have like 5 to 10 games on a system, and you just play the crap out of those games.
I beat this game so many times. Like I think it's a possibility that I beat this game more than I've ever beat any game. So I love it. I think it's a phenomenal game. I'm going to replay it the day it comes out on Valentine's Day because I just think it's a really, really good game to add to the service. I think a lot of people missed it. I think it's one that a lot of people haven't played. And I mean, like it's a Mario game with all these gimmicks involved, of these different like transformations and things that you can do, all the silly Wario awareness, but it still plays like an excellent Mario game, just with as Wario in his own style. I think it's an awesome game, a genius game, really, because like you think about some of the boss battles and stuff in this game, they're just awesome. And I think this is, if this does well as far as active players or people that play it, we could get a new Wario Land game. I think it's way past time that we've gotten a new Wario game. We got Wario World on GameCube and Wario Land 4, but other than that, we've gotten like the WarioWare games. We haven't gotten like an actual Wario game for a long time. So I
Yeah.
think this would be great. Is this one that you want to play when it hits the service?
I might go around to trying it. It's one of those games you can see where they stuff they want to test in these games, maybe
Yeah.
not in a regular Mario game. Get a little bit more creative with certain mechanics.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, they might have like a new gimmick on some other Mario games, but it feels like they've kind of stuck to stuff that's safe and they know works. Not like a
Yeah.
lot of games back in the '90s where they were the new technology allowed them to do new things, but they always kind of succeeded. But there's always like a huge step and like brand new mechanics, brand new characters, where it feels
Yeah.
like not only with Mario, but or with Nintendo as a whole, but like every company, like they're just willing to take less and less risks. And so if you're willing to take a risk, you're gonna put it on like a side IP like this, and then if it works, then you'll transition it over to like your mainline games.
It's a very, very creative game, and it looks very good for the GBA too. Like you think about the time, it
Yeah,
was a really good looking game. And I love the game so much that I ended up getting Wario Land 3 for the Game Boy Color just because I had played that one Wario Land game so many times. And it was also a great game, but not nearly as good as Wario Land 4. But the funny thing is it wasn't just me. My brother and sister both beat this game too. They played and beat this game as well. Like, we obviously shared the Game Boy games and stuff like that. So it was it's a staple GBA game for me. I'm excited to replay it. I'll probably play through the whole thing. Might do it on a stream. I beat the game so many times. I'm pretty familiar with it. So I think it's to be actually probably pretty fun game to stream because we haven't done too many retro games here lately. So I might do that, but I'm for sure playing it.
yeah. I guess I'll bring up this next stuff because I haven't watched any more since we last talked about it, though. But the new fight between Goku and Goma and Daima, I feel like you wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, not too much, just because neither of us are caught up yet. But basically hitting that we got an actual finale trailer, which doesn't happen that often anymore because it is kind of a big event, especially for Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
So we finally get to see that fight with Goma and Goku, which I think is kind of a big deal. It'll be episode 17. I don't know until we see it whether this means it's the conclusion of Daima altogether or this is just the conclusion of season 1. Which
From
is
what they
what
made
I
it sound
really
like, they
want
made
to
the
know.
season 1 because if they say this before it aired, there were rumors to say they had like 20 some episodes like already kind of like good to go.
I thought I
before it
remember us
airing.
talking about that, but I couldn't remember for sure.
Yeah, we did.
So
I mean, it feels like 17 episodes for a show just seems pretty quick, and it's not a normal number of episodes you normally get for a show. Normally they like to stick to the 12, 24, 26, 36 episode type limit based off regular seasons. But I mean, I'd be curious because I didn't think they were going to get this far this quickly.
I didn't think so.
But I mean,
Super Saiyan 3 already, I didn't see that coming at all.
I mean, it's already a thing.
I mean, I
So
know,
that's
but
not really
like
surprising.
with the concept of the story and then basically
I mean, it just
starting
shrunk
over.
them down to kids, though. It's not like they lost like all their power.
But it was very hard for them to go Super Saiyan. It's just crazy to see that in that form and so small. It looks really good. Like visually, the show is absolutely phenomenal. Like the animation is so good. Like it really is. It's shockingly good. And I think that it looks like it comes out. The final episode comes out on the 28th. So I think I can for sure get caught up by then because I think we're talking about it on the Anime Junction Cast soon, right? Anyway.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, we can schedule to talk about it as this first season kind of wraps up.
But I'm going to try to wrap up what I need to watch to get there so that I can watch it when it launches. It's the 28th, so
I haven't watched
recording. It's
December,
the 7th.
so
I'm sure I can run through, just a few episodes and get caught up pretty quick. So definitely really excited about this. And, obviously not necessarily video game related, but, adjacent. And I think that, I think it's cool that they've, brought Daima into the video games already as well, which is really cool. So,
I don't think it's that surprising though, to be fair.
No, I wouldn't say surprising necessarily.
I mean, they just launched a game, so.
Yeah, but what is surprising is that it was brought into Xenoverse 2, which is an old game.
Oh,
because surprising.
Assume they had just abandoned that game at that point.
You would assume so. It must have a high player count still,
apparently, or it just wasn't that hard to implement.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was loud.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's still loud.
Yeah, let me turn it down real quick.
Going over there.
There we go. I thought I turned it down the first time. They're showing some of that there, the finale trailer. But I'm definitely excited about it for sure.
No, I am too. Definitely looking forward to it. Need to catch up.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Coffee and Intellivision Gamer? How's it going, guys? Appreciate you coming in and hanging out.
Hopefully everybody's having a good Friday so far.
Yeah.
Weekend, so something to be happy about.
Yeah, I guess something to tell Intellivision Gamer while he's on here. I'm in the talks right now. I've got to see what price he's willing to do on it, and if I can afford it, because I'm not going to pay like the crazy prices people are asking for these. But I'm currently attempting to get a Collector Vision Phoenix, which obviously they're no longer being made. And because I need an Intellivision, that would be my preferred route to go, because it's something I always wanted. So I'm in the talks with someone right now. I'm just trying to see what kind of price point that they're looking at. But holy crap, was I surprised to see this going for $700 to $1,000, which is absolutely crazy. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess there's some of the trailer. You know, lots happened in this show. Like it's moved at a very fast pace.
It's no filler, essentially.
All killer, no filler, as they say.
No need to drag stuff out just to have a longer runtime. Just tell the story.
Definitely not like classic GBA, or I mean, DBZ episodes.
Or it was just unnecessarily long. They just drug stuff out for forever.
Yeah, I know, like 4 episodes of charging up.
You're like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, I mean, there's the trailer for that, so definitely exciting stuff there, and can't wait to watch that. So definitely excited.
Yeah. We also had some news. This was posted a while about the end of January, so about a week or so ago. But apparently the mod that added 60 FPS for Bloodborne was DMCA takedown via Sony.
Yeah, so I followed the kind of development of this. I watched Asmongold's video of him reacting to it and going through the whole thing of the creator's video of what he did. Because do you know about? Have you played Bloodborne?
No, I do not play these types of games.
Okay, so I normally don't either, because I'm just really bad at Dark Souls games, or Soulsborne at all. But that game, I own it. I bought every single one of them and played every single one of them, but I've only ever beat one of them. And what's interesting about Bloodborne is that for some reason they opted for this to go at 30 frames per second, which it's not good to begin with. But what happens is when you get in the fight scenes, it drops sub 30 and then looks really bad, plays bad.
Yeah.
So like there's instances of this game where it drops so low, like it takes you out of the game. So it was like a big deal for this game. And this was a Sony published game. So it was like surprising to see that they were okay with releasing it like that. And, you know, it's just crazy that, you know, a fan took their time to bring this up to 60 FPS and also visually make it look better. You can up the quality of it all the way up to 4K, although based on his video, he said when you run it 4K, it can't crash. But the 60 FPS patch, it's not like he changed anything of the game. He brought it up to speed where it's more playable. It's more playable. Fans have wanted this, and I can't understand the takedown other than this. I had this idea in my head. The only reason I can think that, because let's be realistic, PlayStation doesn't do DMCA takedowns that much. Not like Nintendo.
I guess it depends on the IP. Because it clearly comes out, it seems like, hey, I can make this game run at 60 FPS, and Sony came out with the whole meme, and I took that personal.
Yeah.
Bam, strike it down. For no reason other than to strike it down.
My only guess of striking this down is that they already had plans to bring this to PS5 at 60 FPS. Like, I can see that because it makes sense.
Huge assumption.
it makes sense for them to
It
do that
makes sense that
because
they're gonna bring it at 30 FPS, and they just told this guy to shove it because they
yeah, I don't
could.
know. I mean,
To be
it's
fair, I would be
it's
surprised if they
the
brought it to PS5 at all, realistically, but, I mean, Sony, good business sense, does not go. I mean, AAA gaming and good business sense obviously don't go hand in hand, so
they
I
don't.
remain
But they could
skeptical.
bring this to PS5 and
I mean, they
PC,
could,
make
but
it run
are they
better,
actually
make
gonna
it
do it?
look better, and it's like it's the one standout of the Soulsborne games that has the biggest issues, and it's because of the way that it runs. Like it was showing in some of the
Yeah.
fight scenes, it would drop all the way down to like 20 frames a second, depending on who's on the screen, how many people are on the screen, things like that. It's just shocking to me when this is a Sony published game that it would be released in such a state. You know, it's like Bloodborne itself is a good game, but those are problems. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I could think of is that they already either had plans to do it and it was bringing it because you saw Demon Souls remake and it was amazing. People loved it. My thinking was that maybe they're doing a Bloodborne remake. We know that whoever did Demon Souls, I'm trying to think of who it is, the remake, whatever that studio's called, is working on another Souls game. We just don't know what. So I could definitely see that this, they could be bringing it to PS5. Could be a remake altogether. Could be a remaster. More than likely, because of Demon Souls, I feel like it would be a remake. But we don't know which game it is. I'm not saying it is Bloodborne, but my only guess is that hey, they are doing something with this, or even just patching it for the PS5, not exactly bringing it to PS5, patching it for PS5 for it to run better, which should be easily doable at this point. Like this should have already been done.
I mean, yeah, it's what should have been done, but because you bring this up, and I think there is some criticisms because sometimes remakes do look better, but because I remember seeing this, I'm glad I did see it. I guess pull it over. What do you think? Because there were some criticisms when people talk about remakes, and
Yeah.
there are limitations. But because this is from the Demon Souls from the
Yeah.
PS3 and the PS5, and I mean the PS5 graphically looks better, but there is a obvious change where it atmospherically doesn't feel the same. I've not played these games, so I'm kind of pulling it off with some of the videos and screenshots I've seen. But I've seen in other games that you played before. It's like, yeah, it looks better with other remakes, but sometimes it doesn't feel like it has the soul or the
Yeah.
environment isn't the same. I think one of the other big ones is with the Mass Effect 1 Legendary Edition, where the very first planet that you're on, the very first mission, essentially like the tutorial, it looks graphically better, but it doesn't really feel the same. I don't know if somebody scrolled it down because I saw it as well. I don't know if it was on this post or not, and I kind of agreed with the same thing.
No, I can definitely see
So,
what you're saying. Like having the fog there missing in that particular
yeah,
image.
I don't think it was in this thread that I saw it. I'll scroll back up. But I mean, that's like the one issue that you do have with remakes. It'll play better, it looks better, but you do sometimes have the issue where the atmosphere isn't the same. So you don't have that that
Yeah.
same foreboding atmosphere that kind of had to be there just because of the graphical limitations. You had to get kind of creative
Right.
with how the game looked, but then it also added to like
Yeah.
the atmosphere, and it just felt more daunting or foreboding or something like that.
I would criticize that more and see that point more if it was a remaster and they did that, but not a remake as much because
Yeah.
it's a from the ground up remake. Like that is a complete remake. So they took that new vision and style to
Yeah,
remake it that way. And
because you got to remember, usually if this is a different studio, it's not the same people that made the game that are remastering it.
right.
So sometimes you don't have the same vision. You just say like, "Oh, this is just because the game looks bad. I can throw," and so you're changing stuff that you think looks better, but actually devalues the game in some areas that some people may not even realize until you go back and like think about it or look at it. Some areas and parts of the game might just generally look better. In some areas, it just might not feel the same. I think you run into that issue because I think you see it a lot in a lot of remakes or even remasters, where stuff has changed and it looks impressive and it runs better quality of life, but you also lose things at the same time. Like, it just doesn't feel like it has the same heart.
Yeah, I
Heart or
definitely get what you're
soul.
saying. I wanted to also share something else that kind of went along the lines of this. So me and you talked about, I don't know how much you remember from the podcast and stuff sometimes, but we talked about a game called Nightmare Cart. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where it was like, okay. So that was supposed to be like kind of like a demake for the PS1 that was based around Bloodborne. They also did a DMCA takedown for that as well, alongside the 60 FPS mod. So they took down Nightmare Cart, which is its own game, plays unlike any other Souls game or PlayStation game or anything like that. It's its own complete project that it's been out for a while at this point, and they decided to take that down and the 60 FPS mod. So they didn't just take down the 60 FPS. No, I don't hear as many people talking about the Nightmare Cart stuff, which they're still supporting that game with DLC and doing stuff with it. Like, it's really cool. I played it. I installed it. I thought it was really fun, and it's unfortunate because like these people put a lot of work into making this game, like a lot of work. So they decided to take that down too because it has relation to Bloodborne, which I just think is silly because it you know what I mean? It just has nothing to do with the game. I mean, other than it being a Bloodborne inspired game, it is not an official game. It is a fan made game. You're not making anything like this, Sony. Why are you taking this down?
Because they can.
It's sad, man. It's sad to see that because people work so hard on these projects. Like, I can't even imagine. Like, I don't have time to do anything now. Like, the time that people put into doing this stuff just for the fans and for the love of it because they love this stuff. All that work is gone, you know?
Well, because it's there, it doesn't profit them, so they don't really care. Because at the end of the day, people are still going to buy the games they pump out.
Yeah.
Well, more often than not. I mean,
yeah,
you're getting to a point now where people stop buying the slop, but at the end of the day, these executives only see dollar signs. That's all they care about.
Yeah, it's truly unfortunate that got taken down. So
yeah, it is unfortunate. Apparently there was another Football Manager game by Sega that was essentially now not coming out. I believe it was Football Manager 25, if that's the kind of game that you're into. I've looked at these games before. It looks so boring. Like,
I feel the same way.
Like, it's like an actual job where you actually manage a football team. Like, what's the point of this?
Yeah, I know.
People play Tractor Simulator and Truck Simulator and stuff like that. So it's the same
I feel the same way about all of that. These games look incredibly boring to me, but I did find it kind of interesting that this actually has the series has a big following. Like, they're selling.
Yeah,
That's
why
they're
around for a while.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. But looks like Sports Interactive said they're very sorry to have let down fans and now shift to its focus to the next annual release. So they're just going to skip a year and go to 26. The reasoning behind the decision, although it's not specifically mentioned, seems to be the transition to the new game engine. It was planned to be the biggest technical and visual advancement in the series for a generation, laying the foundations of a new era.
And they get the rug pulled out from underneath of them.
Yeah, it says while FM25 hit certain targets, the player experience and interface is still not up to scratch. The team doesn't believe this is the right thing to do. Additionally, is not willing to go beyond a March release as it's too late in the football season. The plan is now to focus on the next release and hit its goals. So their excuse is they're using a new game engine.
Yeah, who knows what's actually going on? They're just going to take what they've already built and release it next year, essentially. That's what they're saying.
So they got Football Manager 24. They're going to skip 25 and do 26. Makes a lot of sense, right?
I mean, it's been out for a while. This game
these are an annual release, just like Madden and everything else.
Yeah, but I mean, this game's been out for just over 2 decades now. It originally released in 2004, so it's been around for a hot
crazy.
Second.
I didn't know it had been around that long.
Yeah, it's been on all the platforms. It's been on is Windows, Mac OS, Linux, iOS, Android, PSP, PS Vita, Switch, 360, Stadia, Xbox One, Series X, Series S, PS5, and Netflix. This IP has been on, not every single game.
That's wild.
Yeah, that is wild. Who's playing games on Netflix?
I tried Sonic Mania on it just to see how the
It was
thing
terrible.
worked. It
I
wasn't
mean,
terrible. No, there was nothing wrong with it. But the stupid thing is that it's Netflix and you can only do it under the Netflix app on your phone. So there's no other way to play these games. You have to use the Netflix app on your phone to play them.
which just begs the question: what's the point?
It didn't run terrible. I thought it was going to run terrible. It ran fine. I also played Sonic Mania, so it's I don't know. It just to me, it's not something I think about doing. It's like you can't play this on your TV. You can't play it on PC. I think you can't play it on PC. As far as I'm aware, it's just on the Netflix app. So kind of silly,
Yeah.
but yeah.
No, but we also, I guess, also from Sega though they're reporting that they're having a drop in revenue. Outside of apparently Sonic just doing really well, everything else around the whole Sega properties has just been kind of subpar. But that's kind of been par for the course with like AAA gaming as a whole, which I would put Sega as a company in that. Same with Microsoft and Sony.
Yeah, they've had like kind of mixed results with their financial report for Q3 24 and 25. So it says that
Yeah.
the entertainment sector has been an 8.1% increase in net sales. My guess is that's because of the movies. That would be my
Almost
guess.
guaranteed. Yeah.
But it says, which comes out to 238.6 billion yen. Its overall net sales are actually down 322.3 billion yen, a decrease of 8.1% year on year, with operating profit down 20.8% and reoccurring profit down 13.9%. Drop can be attributed to a decline in free to play, which dropped to 34.7 billion in revenue, and the sales of Amplitude Studios. French company has since become independent again following management buyout, blah, blah, blah. The cancellation of Football Manager 25 is another loss that has forced the company to revise its expectations for the remainder of the year. Sega's the leading Hedgehog with Sonic X Shadow Generation sales have surpassed 2 million units worldwide, though, and the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie has smashed a box office record to be the second highest grossing video game movie of all time, which I'm assuming is just behind Mario.
Yeah, because what they said, what they're based off their revision of operating, they were up 4 points on their entertainment and entertainment contents, which I assume is going to be like the movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They were up 1.5 on gaming. They said up 1.5 on some other entertainment, but they were down 3.5 on their patchy slot and pachinko machines. Seems like that's where they took one of the biggest hits on when they revised their expectations. Their gambling sector isn't doing as well as they thought it would.
It's crazy to me how popular pachinko is in Japan.
Yeah,
man.
and this whole, it's like what almost a 30 page long PowerPoint PDF if you really actually want to go through and read the intricacies of their finances on the report and stuff.
I mean,
like
finance reports are interesting because there seems to always be some sort of stuff that's alluded to as far as new games, new hardware, things to
you also
come.
have to know what you're looking for as well, though, too, in these.
Yeah, they can also be, most of it is incredibly boring, but it's fine. It's cool to find out the highlights from these because
it's just raw numbers is really all this is.
Yeah, they're trying to cater to their investors. So
that's what this is. It's an investor report. So people that actually put a lot of money into it and are trying to figure out like how much money they either want to leave in the company, put in the company, take out, and a whole bunch of other stuff. This is kind of how they track trends over the years, and it's required by like usually federal laws. They have to like report this stuff. At least in the U.S., a lot of companies have to report stuff to like the FTC and stuff like that for taxes and other reasons.
Yeah,
because you have to like let your investors know how you can't just lie about your company's performance just to steal money.
Well, you can, but
it's really hard to without essentially committing other felonies by like fudging your books, fudging like just straight lying about your numbers.
Yeah, I'm sure it's happened, but yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, you can fix the short term and the long term. That's going to come out when all of a sudden you're just laying off. We're doing really good. You lay off like 100,000 people, and people are like, you're not doing good.
Yeah, wild.
But have you had that chance to see the new Sonic movie?
I haven't yet. No, unfortunately, I wanted to watch it in the theater, but I do plan on watching it at home when it. I don't know if it's on anything streaming yet or on a physical release. That's one because it is a video game related thing that I do want to buy like the
I
physical
would
movie
assume so
for.
because I guess it technically came out last year.
Yeah, I want to get that physical 4K Blu-ray of that. No, I need to watch it. I've heard it's very good, and Shadow's my favorite Sonic character. So
Oh, no, I mean, technically, it's still in theaters.
it is?
There's an airing near me that's airing in like 7:05 today.
Okay, I thought it was new. So
Oh yeah, it came out. Sorry, it came out December 20th. So it's been what, just over about 2 months now. No, it's about a month and a half, give or take.
yeah,
So I guess it's still fairly new. Usually movies are in theaters for what, 2 to 3 months.
yeah. I mean, you haven't watched it yet either, have you?
I've only watched the first one, to be fair.
I still got to watch. I actually need to watch the Knuckles series before I watch Sonic 3 because it ties directly in. So
yeah, but I mean, it's done pretty well. I think as of probably as of like the last week or so, it's reported to have 463.3 million at the box office globally. So it's doing pretty well.
Yeah, that's good.
Or 100%, it's more than made back its money, and it's just pure profit. Then again, I don't know how much Sega's making off of it and how much Paramount's making off of it, because that's the studio that actually made the movie.
Yeah, I'm curious on that too. So, sorry, I was trying to look up something
Get around to watching it eventually.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch it eventually, for sure.
Where was it? Because we had some Civ 7 news drop as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because
this is more up your alley, so I wanted to hear your take on all of this stuff.
I don't know if it's really up my. I haven't played a Civ game since like Civ
Well,
4.
it's more of your type of game than it is mine for sure, because I'm not interested at all in
I haven't
Civilization.
played. I don't really play these games anymore, to be fair. I mean, I'm familiar with the IP, but apparently the game's not doing well. Bad reviews, and apparently there's a lot of UI, and just the game's generally not doing too well. I can pull up what the Steam reviews for it.
I'm shocked it's nothing DEI related, to be honest with you.
Who knows?
I mean, it's being implemented.
Yeah, because it's sitting at a 49% with 7,000 reviews. Because this game just came out, or the game technically comes out February 11th, so it's technically not officially out, but it's early access is what it's in right now. This game actually officially comes out on Tuesday, unless you want to pay $100+, either $100 or $100. Because there's 3 versions on Steam. There's 3 versions. You got the $70 base game, you've got a $100 deluxe edition, and then $130 Founders Edition. Whatever that actually means, it's just early access that you're paying.
$130 for a digital game.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That is.
I mean, it's gotten near perfect critical reviews. It's sitting probably about a 9 out of 10 or a 9.5 out of 10. But it's not like I'm just looking at one of the top reviews and stuff like that. Let's see if I can't. I guess I'll just pull up.
That's wild.
I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this.
Somewhat.
It's not. It's a separate app, so you
can actually make it go bigger. So
I was trying to, but it wasn't. I couldn't.
Oh yeah, it's just taking us off.
Yeah, because it's not an actual web page.
You could just zoom in.
It's not a web page. It's actually it's Steam itself.
Okay, I got you.
There's a hotkey for it, but I'm not remembering off the top of my head. Yeah, like immediately you just met with a bunch of negative reviews and stuff like that. But I obviously kind of read it out as well, because some people are saying said splitting the game into 3 eras and stuff like that really makes the game more interesting. There was obviously some good. It looks good and stuff like that, but some of the bad. Obviously, the first one people talk about, the UI is just not good.
Which is what one of the patches is fixing, right?
To work on the map is hard to read at a glance. They say the realistic art style, no large maps at all, which is like a weird thing. They're pretty much criticizing the lack of map variety, which is like a big thing in these games.
Yeah.
So the era can end abruptly, given its soft reset of the game. could do a few turns of grace or something like that. They say no hot seat multiplayer. I don't know exactly what that means. I haven't played these games in forever and stuff like that. But I mean, you can just scroll through and like all these top reviews because this dude made this review. He's got 20 hours in the game with early access, and it's not been out that long.
That's significant
This was
time to
posted.
say whether the game.
This was
good or
posted
bad, I would say.
today with 14 hours on record, and he's played another almost another 7 hours of the game and stuff like that. It's just a whole bunch of negative reviews. And these are all early access. The game's not officially out, so they can still fix the issue. But it seems like the game, this just feels like you're paying them extra money to be a beta tester. Is really all this.
That's what it feels like. Yeah,
pay us extra money because we want to charge you more without the base game being this more, and then you can test the bugginess of the game before it actually comes out. That's really what it feels like they're actually doing.
That's the one thing that kept me from getting Path of Exile 2, because I'm just like, I have a hard time wanting to pay for early access for a free-to-play game when I know the game will eventually be free. So why do I want to pay for it to play it early?
Especially when it's only a few days, like 3, 4, 5 days
silly.
early. And you're paying an extra, $20 to $50, $60 more because the base game's $70. So it's an extra $30 to $60. You could be paying an extra $60 just to have early access to this game.
That's
and maybe
crazy.
A few in-game cosmetics.
That's crazy to me. That feels like it's gouging the consumer.
I mean, this is what everybody does. This is how they soft. This has always been a soft charge more than the $60, $70 base level. Because there's always people that just need to just waste money, which I think paying extra money for the base game is just a waste of money. Because the Founders Edition, you get the Tecumseh and Shawnee pack, which is a pre-purchase bonus, or you get it in these. It'll be available later, like it always is. Advanced access starting February 6th. Deluxe content, so 2 leader personas plus deluxe cosmetic pack. The Founders one, you get 2 leader personas and then a Founders cosmetic pack, not the deluxe one. I don't know what the difference is. You get 4 wonders, narrative wonders and packs, special cosmetics. It's just a bunch of cosmetics and these 2 extra leaders that you get. That's like crazy. All that there is there with the extra stuff. So it's like I just don't see $60 worth of content when it's just early access cosmetics.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. I just thought I'd bring this up because it was on the Steam page. I thought it was kind of funny. I was curious whether there's any DEI involved in Civ 7 that we didn't know about, and it's just a post from January 26th. that I thought was kind of funny. I don't know that the game's necessarily interjected with any DEI or it's anything like that. I just found this to be kind of funny. So
it's hard to tell whether it's actual or it's just marketing to be like, oh, I mean, in a way, I'm like, yeah, it's always been diverse because it deals with
it's gotta be
human history. It's the nature. It's like a global. It takes actual history, and you can kind of like rewrite it. That was always the purpose of it. But
diversity by itself is not a bad thing. It's when things are interjected and agendas are set and things like that. That's where the problem becomes.
I would say when it's there. It's good when it's there naturally with it not being forced.
Exactly.
When you do diversity for the sake of diversity, I've seen it end negatively more than it's ended positively. Yeah. But when it's naturally done, it's not forced. It's just by the nature of the product that you're making or by the environment that you're working in. That's one thing.
Yeah,
but that's a whole other rabbit hole I don't really want to go down. So
yeah,
just leave it there.
Okay.
Got a bunch of stuff up. Where are we at? Ooh, got a lot of sticking with a lot of media today. Or like television movies. So apparently we're reportedly to be getting a Wonder Woman video game, which I assume is going to tie into the movies somehow by DC.
God, I hope not.
But there was also reportedly a Flash game that was in the works and then it got yanked and pulled. So who knows if this game's actually going to eventually come out. I don't know. Outside of like Spider-Man and Batman.
Yeah.
Their games don't really do all that well. It feels like those are like the only 2 IPs that they've actually consistently made games for, and they actually perform well on a consistent basis.
Especially in the modern era, I would say.
I mean, this sounds stupid. Like the last time I remember Superman being relevant was a game on like the 64. That's
That
the
was
last Superman
probably
game
the
that I
worst game
remember.
of all time too.
I'm sure there's been others afterwards. It's just the only one that I remember.
Yeah. No, I mean this could be really good if they did this right, because I could see this being like a I mean they could even make this I'm not necessarily like a fan of the genre per se, but this could even be something like a Soulsborne type of game. Like there's a lot they could do with this. There's a lot of lore to dive into. Like there's a lot that could happen, but I mean this is WB Games we're talking about. I can't stand them anymore. They just canceled Multiverses, which is crazy, you know. And we've known about this for a long time because it's been spoken of before. So it
Yeah.
looks like 3 years ago this was
Yeah,
announced.
they released this teaser 3 years, and it's not even much of one. So like, I don't know where we're at. Is this game even still happening? It's such a non-trailer.
And it's
You just
Monolith Soft too, which is
It's
good.
all you know, and they just take the actual actor or the actress from the movies and use her as a model, and
Yeah.
like a what probably looks like some kind of like fake CG stuff. That's about it.
Yeah.
So are we actually going to get this game, or is it something that they planned and then quietly just kind of got the rug pulled out from under them?
I don't know. That's a great question. I mean, I have no faith in WB Games at all, but Monolith Soft doing this is a good sign for one. If they really are still doing this, they're a great company, a great studio. So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it is.
It is interesting. I mean, there's a lot of superheroes that can make for a great video game. Like there's a underrated, not really known that well Deadpool game that came out on the Xbox 360 and Xbox One.
I
And
don't ever remember that. I mean, I don't know how popular it was, but everybody that's like that I've seen that game, like it always got like rave reviews. Like it's a good game. I just don't know if it ever got like super popular.
I have it. I think it's
'Cause
really
I
fun.
played
It
the
didn't
game.
get popular for sure. Deadpool wasn't even a popular character yet. So
I mean, I played the 360 version on the Xbox One. Played like it was a terrible port. Played like garbage, but the game itself was pretty fun.
I thought the game was fun. It had a lot of problems. There was a lot of problems with it as far as like the enemy UI, and then just kind of like the combat as far as
just the frame rate of that game.
Yeah,
on the port of that game was terrible.
But like the concept of the game itself was like really fun. Like I thought it was really
So
cool.
if you played the original version and then came out on like the 360, it runs fine. If you played a ported version of it, it's not even worth your time.
So I got the Xbox One version, the native Xbox One. I have not played the 360 version.
Yeah,
I know that the 360 version does run worse. Same with the PS3. I know it has problems. And I think they fixed that with the versions on the PS4 and Xbox One. But
not the Xbox One version that I played. It played terrible.
Well, you played the 360 version on the Xbox One, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all they had at the time when I played it, and I think I averaged like 15 frames a minute.
Yeah, that's a problem. It's a very expensive game now. I don't know if you know that. It's like $100 game now. So that's another reason why people haven't been able to play it. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of characters they could take from comic books that could turn into really good games. Like I think a really good Spawn game would be fun. Like that's a really good character for video games. Same with the Punisher. I know it's been done a few times, but I feel like there's a lot of like opportunity there to make a really good Punisher game. There's so many characters.
It's felt like they've done a lot, but outside some of your main games, you get something more like Marvel's Midnight Suns or Snap or some other card game. Like you don't usually get like a single player game,
which is so different because we used to get a lot of really, really, really good retro comic book related video games. Lots of them. I mean, think of X-Men on the Sega Genesis, X-Men versus Street Fighter, even the Marvel versus Capcom games. Like there,
technically you've got DC Universe Online that came out in 2011,
which is still running and crazy. I can't believe that's still like an active game. I actually played it too. It's not fun.
But it's not a single player. It's like not what you would want with a lot of these. You have so many IP characters, and you only stick with Batman and Spider-Man. It's like you just refuse to take a risk on anything else.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's so much that could be done though, and like I can't necessarily see how the Flash game would have worked exactly. I'm sure something could have been done, but Wonder Woman
I
to
mean,
me makes sense.
you just make a DC version of Sonic. That's really all you need to do. I mean,
I
what's the
saw
difference?
I saw a meme the other day because there's a new one coming out. Why, if Sonic is the fastest thing in the world, why does he drive in cars? Why is he driving carts? Because there's a new Sonic kart game coming out. So I saw somebody put
Because
that.
they
I
needed
thought
a
that was
game. I
pretty
mean,
funny.
I think it's a funny meme. In reality, we all know why they did it, but yeah.
They're good too, which is the crazy thing. They're like, to me, some of the few Mario Kart clones that are actually really good. Like Sonic Racing Transformed was a really good, and it was unique because before like Mario Kart 7 came out, that game you could fly in it. It had different things going on in it, so you weren't just racing karts. The transformed where your
Yeah.
vehicle would transform in real time on the racetrack, which is really, really, really fun. Absolutely love that game. So much fun.
Yeah, we also got some news. I don't know how to feel about this, or if it's. I don't know. I just don't know how you turn a card game into anything more than a card game. But apparently, they're trying to have a cinematic universe for Magic: The Gathering, and I
Yeah,
have
do you know what
no
this
idea how you
screams to
turn
me?
purely a card game that has no narrative concept at all into an
You know what this
actual
screams to
movie.
me?
A cheap
War
D&D movie.
Warhammer. The new Warhammer game did very well, so let's do the same thing.
Yeah, but it wasn't based off
A
it's based off a
tabletop game.
tabletop game that has an established lore and universe
So
to
does
it.
Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering has animated shows, it has comic books, there's a lot of lore behind it too.
But it's not the same because it's based off of actual books. That way you can actually role play in a tabletop game. This is purely a card game. It's not the same thing based off its pure canonized lore. Where Warhammer actually has books, so you know how to set up. You have a universe to set up like a D&D style game
And there's a
essentially.
lot of
The same
Yu-Gi-Oh
thing with
games.
Cyberpunk. There's books that add to the lore so you can be more immersed in the game. It's
Yeah.
not the way Magic the works. I mean, they kind of did the same thing with Pokemon, but they just turned that into a video game. But I mean, to be fair, most of
There's
those
a
games don't
lot
really
of
have much of a
Yu-Gi-Oh
story.
games, man. I don't know. But a
I don't know.
cinematic universe that screams to me that they're wanting to do. It also makes me think of League of Legends, how they wanted to do the universe thing, the cinematic universe sort of deal as well, because they wanted to spread their wings and making other games, making animated shows,
I guess
making a
the question
movie.
is like, are there established characters in this game,
Yeah.
or is it because at least with like League, you had like actual characters and they had some kind of background. Let's be fair, nobody plays the game for the character. You just play it for the actual game.
Yeah.
But they had some level. Like it can be done. Pokemon is popular for the cards, for the collecting and trading aspect of it. Like, let's be fair, like the world building is, well, there's like different universes for Pokemon. The TV animates its own thing, and the games are, well, they don't have the deepest story, but
Yeah.
they work for what they are, the whole collect them all type thing, or gotta catch them all. And then, I mean, I guess Yu-Gi-Oh! To less popularity kind of succeed at the same time, but I mean, I don't know. Magic the Gathering has always been like the peak like card game that's out there. But like I don't know how who's asking for this and like how well they're actually gonna do it.
My guess is nobody's asking for this. They
I mean,
just
to be
think
fair, it's
people
not.
want it.
I mean, Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, I don't think they have like the best reputation. So like I guess we'll ultimately see what happens. But like a lot of other things, like the whole, because they announced a whole Gundam movie and stuff like that. I was like,
Yeah, I wanted
I'll
to talk about
believe it when
that.
I see it that you'll actually do a good job, because I'm gonna have the assumption that it's gonna be
We
bad if you
have
prove me
in
otherwise.
depth talked about how bad the Japanese interpretation of anime live action movies are. They're so bad, like almost every
They,
single one of them.
the other problem is you look at this and you're like, there's no
They're
money
just so
behind
bad.
this at all. You had like a budget of like $1 million. It was just a bad idea from the get go.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of
Hollywood's
crazy.
got the money, but they don't have the creative vision. So
Yeah, it's kind of crazy stuff. I mean, yeah, it's
I
nuts.
mean, because you look at the league and stuff like that with Arcane, but I'm like, yeah, that's like one good for every like 20 bad shows they've attempted. That's like the KD ratio for adaptations out of Hollywood. So
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, who knows? But I could never get into Magic, so like on the outside, I just don't really have much of an interest at all for this.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's gonna be getting an animated series for Netflix. Um, there's no more details on that. It says we pride ourselves on being thoughtful caretakers of singular beloved IP, and no property fits better that description than Magic the Gathering, says Legendary's chairman of worldwide production. The studios behind films such as Dune and the Western Godzilla movies like Godzilla vs. Kong and Detective Pikachu. So I don't know. You know, Magic has a very large following. It's a huge property. More often than not, like 90% of the time when people are playing card games at the shop near me, it's Magic cards. They're not playing anything else but Magic.
Yeah.
And they buy and sell those cards. It's very, very popular. So, I mean, the IP itself, it already has an established fan base. So my assumption is that they might eat this up. They might be like, oh, we're getting something else Magic. So this could be big stuff. You know, I don't know if that's necessarily the case, if these people care or don't care, but they're catering to people that are already fans of Magic checking out this other stuff. So I don't know. To me, it's like I don't know enough about Magic to even care necessarily.
Yeah.
But I could have said the same thing for Warhammer. Like, I don't know anything about the lore. I've never played the tabletop game. It's not something I'm necessarily want. But the video games are different, right? There's a lot of Warhammer video games. There are so many. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I actually just deleted one off my Xbox yesterday. It was called like Bolt Gun or something. Warhammer Bolt Gun, I think it was. I was like, I'm never going to play this, and deleted it off there yesterday. But yeah, I guess we'll just see what comes of it.
You want to know some funny things? Because, like, let's be fair, this is the same studio working on the Minecraft movie, which looks absolutely terrible and looks like it's going to flop. They're also apparently working on a Duke Nukem movie.
Really?
Yeah, that's one of their upcoming titles. Apparently, they're wanting to work on a My Hero Academia movie. Who knows what's actually gonna happen?
Like
with
a
that.
live action movie?
I mean, that's the assumption.
Oh my god!
I mean, they're also working on the Gundam movie as well as the Magic. I mean, they've worked on Pacific Rim, but like,
I'm very skeptical.
They're similar. Like, based off that, you can make a movie that looks the same, but can you make it feel like the same? And we've got no idea what we're going to do with that and stuff like that. So, I mean, they've made good movies, but they've also made, like, what was it, Skyscraper, which is just a terrible, terrible movie with
I've never
Dwayne
seen
Johnson.
I'm very skeptical on the Gundam live action movie. I'm very skeptical. Like,
they worked on the Detective Pikachu. But let's be real, like the Pokemon Company and Nintendo, and they also worked with Toho. Where like Nintendo's and Pokemon Company are very protective of their IP, so they very obviously had almost guaranteed, like, they had a very heavy-handed say in what was
100%.
what was and wasn't going to get approved in that movie. It's not like they said, "Here, make a movie." It's like, you can make this movie, but we have like final say on a lot of these decisions.
For sure, yeah, for sure.
Because you also had the Mario movie where it's like, yeah, this was good, and an American studio made it, but like, let's not joke ourselves. Like, Nintendo was guaranteed to be very heavy-handed in what they didn't want out of that movie.
Exactly, it's why I know before even watching it that the Zelda movie will be good, because it's like they are so deeply involved in this.
If they don't approve of it, it's not going to get made. If they don't approve of the
happen.
decision, it's not going to happen. They're going to be very heavy-handed on it because, well, they've learned back in the 90s to not just give creative liberty to other people.
Yeah.
Because if this is bad, it's going to look bad on you as a whole, and it's going to impact
Exactly
your game sales and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like, I look at those very differently than other IPs and stuff like that.
I do too. Well, what's I guess quickly, what is your take on the Gundam live action movie?
We'll wait and see, because like, let's not get it wrong. This is not the first live action. What's the other one called?
Are you talking about the one that's from like the 80s?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. It's
I forget what it's called.
Terrible movie.
It's really, really bad. They also made a Dragon Ball movie in the 80s that was one of the worst movies ever created.
Yeah, it was was it 1983? I'm trying to figure out what the name of the movie is. I saw it at one point. Oh, this is killing me. I can't find it now. Oh my god. I need to find the name of this movie because everyone needs to know what it's bad.
Bad.
My god, it's killing me. I can't find the name of this movie.
I can't believe you can't find it. I'll just type in Gundam 80s movie.
I'm trying to search. I found this earlier because I was thinking about it, and now I lost it.
Yeah, I can't.
Where is it at?
I guess I should put live action.
This is killing me. I can't find it now.
Man, shame on you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything.
Like I'm seeing everything with the new one.
I can't.
I mean, I'm gonna keep looking for it. We can move on.
Yeah, I see when it came out in 1983. But it was really bad. It was really bad. But I mean, I guess like modern day live action Gundam movie, I'm so skeptical. It
can be good if it's done well with people that actually know and respect the source material. It's also like, what's this movie gonna be based off? Is it its own thing, or are they gonna essentially retell or reimagine like the OG Universal Century story?
My thing is, I love Japan. I love Japanese culture, but I'm sorry, I do not think they are good at movies.
It's either gonna be good or it's gonna be bad. Like I don't think there's gonna be any in between with how the people see this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna watch it because I love Gundam, but I'm very skeptical on it.
Where you hear this and you're like, I just feel like you'd be better off not retouching Universal Century because like you don't do it well, you're gonna get raked over the coals.
I just find it to be unnecessary. I just feel like we don't need it. Instead, put that effort into a new Gundam.
You see it as
a movie.
They did Pacific Rim, but then you got Pacific Rim 2, which is
really
definitely a downgrade.
Yeah, number 2 was really bad. The only reason I liked Pacific Rim really was because of the kaiju. I thought the whole concept of mechs and kaiju fighting was an interesting premise. I didn't necessarily think that either movie was amazing. I thought one was okay. I thought the kaiju designs were boring.
Sorry. It's G Savior. Is a 99 Japan US collaborative live action television film. It is
made for TV movie. That explains it all.
See if I can't pull up like a trailer for it.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see if we can find one.
See if I can't find something for it, because this was just, I don't know how well this is gonna like look. I think this might be what I'm looking at. It's such a low quality trailer.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so from that era.
Like gotta think this came out in 99. I guess it's like a quick little 30-second clip. It'll probably be better because it's just absolutely terrible.
Terrible.
Like, I mean, usually look at that CG. This is from 99. It's so. They say funny. I don't want to like get copyright with some of the audio, but like it just looks bad.
Yeah, it looks really bad. That's crazy.
I can't remember what happens in this scene. Are we actually going to see it? Like, I just think it looks terrible. Like, I don't even know what's going on. It just looks bad. And if it's a TV movie, the acting is just not good.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's obviously, you can see what I had on the YouTube and stuff like that, but oh my god, it's not. I wouldn't recommend watching.
You should do a whole.
That's probably like the best resolution video I could find, because the trailers, they looked like it was like 1080 or 180p. That's how bad the trailers looked.
Mark, you should do a full video breakdown of that movie.
You couldn't pay me enough to watch that whole movie.
I would love to see you watch the Japanese Dragon Ball movie. You think Dragon Ball Evolution's bad? Oh my god, this movie is horrible. I almost bought it, but they wanted $70 for the VHS tape. I was like, yeah, I'm going to pass.
I mean, that's probably MSRP they bought it for back when it came out.
I mean, oh yeah, I could believe it when it came out for sure.
Oh
But
my god, what was like $40 for 3 episodes of an anime on the VHS? Like, I
oh,
remember
dude, I
seeing those
remember
prices.
seeing
Oh,
Ranma one half
so
for
expensive.
90.
Like, oh, you want all 120 episodes on VHS? You better have like $1,500
I
or
do have
more.
one
Like, that's
VHS
ridiculous.
collectible just because it's video game related. I want to get all the Pokemon tapes. Only
Good luck.
I
I
had
mean,
to
you
limit
probably
myself
find
to.
you can probably find some of them fairly cheap,
I
like
have a
under
few
MSRP.
already, and a couple. I have 2 of them are from childhood. One I rebought that I had as a kid. So they're like one of the few things I even have left. And then I found one of the red case episode tapes. I forget which one it is, just a random one. But I don't see them pop up like I used to. I used to see them out and about at yard sales, thrift stores, stuff all the time when I didn't care about getting them. But now that I want to get them, I can't find them.
I mean, to be fair, VHSs aren't really all that expensive. You can usually find them for like $10 or cheaper. For a
Well,
lot of
unless
these
it's like a rare
VHSs.
thing that was never brought to DVD or Blu-ray.
Yeah, I was trying to find a way to
A lot
like
of those
look at.
horror movies are very expensive.
It's hard to find anything that has those old like VHS prices because now I'm curious.
Oh, I gotta
Now
show
that we've
you
decided to
something
go
as
down this
well.
we've gone down this whole rabbit hole, and now I'm curious. As Brandon grabs whatever he's grabbing. It's hard to find those old. Oh man, I feel like I might actually have to watch a VHS that has like a trailer for something else in there that actually had the price on it, which is just bad.
All right, so just to show these real quick, I had one of my greatest thrift store finds yesterday ever because I have watched these before because I know someone that owned one, so we watched a few of them of theirs, but I have never ever found these in the wild, and I found 3 of them at Goodwill. I was absolutely shocked. I just happened to be looking through the records because there's certain old records I'm looking for. So I found these laser discs. Mark, have you ever even heard of a laser disc?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay.
It was better than VHS.
Oh, way better than VHS. These things are amazing. They are gigantic, essentially CDs. I'll pull one out to show viewers that are watching what they look like. It's essentially a gigantic CD. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I get why VHS.
They're very rare.
But I mean, yeah, it's clearly a better quality, but it's way too big and I'm pretty sure more expensive.
Yeah, they were very expensive when they came out. They were good quality, really good quality, and they're very collectible now. But I just bought all the ones that they had. Little Big League, which I've never seen this movie, so I'll be watching this for the first time when I get a player. I don't have a player yet, but this says the Minnesota Twins have a new owner. I don't know who's in this movie. I've never even heard of this movie before. And then this one, which is a little unfortunate because it's kind of beat up on the cover. The laser disc is perfectly fine. This is one I love. LA Story with Steve Martin. Found that one as well. So I found all 3 of those when looking at. So this is why you don't pass by the records, because they thought these were records and they sold them to me at record price. I did not tell them they were movies.
I mean, I wouldn't.
So
like, hey, this is what y'all labeled it as.
Yeah, I was shocked. I haven't even looked at prices because I don't care. I've just always wanted to own laser discs and a laser disc player. Always have for years and years and years. Been very interested in the format. So first time in I don't know how many years of collecting and looking for this stuff that I've ever even came across a laser disc in the wild.
That's crazy.
They were very expensive, so people around here couldn't afford them. It was an expensive format because it was the best format at the time when it came out. And
sorry, I finally found what I was looking for, or something similar, because like the closest I could find were like old trailers for like some of like the V. Like this is just a movie for $15, the DVD special edition 30 and stuff like that. But I mean, you're looking at like prices like double this just for like 3 episodes on a VHS.
Well, like I said, I saw Ranma 1/2 for $90 for 3 episodes on a VHS tape.
Yeah, some of the ones are more like now you can find them like dirt cheap, but like this is probably the closest I could find. Like I'm having to like dig through like old.
Are you into anime VHS?
I've looked at collecting a few for some that I'm like really into.
Like I'd like to see you get some of the Tenchi
I've only got
Muyo
done this before.
VHS because there's a lot of Tenchi Muyo
Yeah,
VHS.
because I've only got the one because it's really what got me back into
Oh,
anime
okay.
after watching on Toonami and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how much I bought this for. It like some, it's for sure. I've got the actual thing. I don't remember. I think I spent like $20 or under for it when I got it because it was like mid 2000s. You're thinking like 2005, 2006, probably when I got this. Early high school, so maybe closer to 2008. I don't know.
I rewatched Pokemon 2000 on my CRT VHS tape, and
back when Pioneer, I don't know, you can't see all the Pioneer was still
Interactive.
relevant.
So Pioneer are the ones that created Laserdisc, by the way.
They because I remember you used to have like a to save space. You used to have like a big little round thing. You put a bunch of DVDs in, and it would auto. You just click a button to see what's there, auto play it, and it was made like Pioneer made a lot of like IT,
a lot of
stuff,
big expensive tech, like really like revolutionary.
Yeah, they were like forefront a lot of that stuff back then.
But yeah, Pioneer is the one that created the whole format of Laserdisc, which
I think they're still around, just not the same.
I thought they went under, but I'm not sure.
They're still considered Pioneer Corporation because it's a Japanese company, which makes sense back in the day.
Yeah,
but I think they're owned by somebody else. Or they're just not as relevant from what they do now. Because what they're... Oh, man, this is killing me. Brand... Oh, yeah, thanks, Wikipedia. I went down this rabbit hole and I didn't think the name was still there or it's owned by somebody else. I can't remember.
Gotcha.
I have to like read through a whole bunch of stuff.
No worries.
Because when 26...
What are we looking at again?
2018... said after Pioneer became heavily indebted following its failed forays into car navigation and auto systems, Baring Private Equity Asia injected the company with $540 million. Like what in 2020 they released an in-car Wi-Fi router part. Like I just don't think they're really that relevant of a company anymore. They essentially
aren't. You don't see the.
They just kind of went out of business and stuff like that.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
I know that happened, but I was pretty much sure they got bought out by somebody else. So the name's still around.
Thought they went the whole route, basically like RCA, how RCA kind of went under, and they were a huge tech company back in the day, but they just completely went under. We actually had a back in the day, my town had a RCA factory.
Yeah.
All right. So what we got next?
Yeah. I could spend another hour going back down this rabbit hole.
Oh, you're good.
No, we got some news that they dropped over on X from Assassin's Creed that Shadows will be getting essentially its own manga. And I can share what that looks like for y'all.
Hey, what's up, Joshua? Like thanks for tuning
in. By the Assassin's Creed, essentially, they're saying essentially the prequel to the in-game story, and they're releasing it in a manga format over in Japan. It's done by what looks like Young Magazine KC and stuff like that. I don't know if it's going to be one volume or something like that, but this is essentially what they gave us for like the cover art.
Of course, it's going to be a manga.
I mean, it's if you're dealing with the whole Japan thing,
yeah,
don't know how this is going to work, how it's going to tie into the story. We still don't know how well this game's actually going to do. Only time is going to really tell.
I'm still debating on whether I'm going to stream this.
Yeah, of course, the first person. But
yeah, it is some really good cover art. I'm not gonna lie.
Like it looks decent. I guess we'll actually see. I'm still waiting to see if they're actually going to delay this game again for a third time.
Oh my god, I hope not.
Because
I'm all for like if your game's not up to snuff, delay it as many times as you have to, so you don't put out garbage. But it's like, holy crap, it's
Then
becoming a
again, I don't think
meme.
Ubisoft could afford to push this off much longer.
I don't think so either, because you know what I think?
2024 was a
This
bad
is how
year
I
for 'em.
really feel. This is how I feel. If this game does not do good, Ubisoft is done.
Yeah, they're gonna get bought out because I think
Which
you mentioned it before.
sucks because they
Was
have so
watching
many IPs that I love.
something from Asmund going. He's like, man, I'm gonna be really disappointed when this game comes out. He's like, I'm just gonna have no more content for this game anymore. Like he's done so
I
much
know, I've
Assassin's
watched so
Creed,
many of his videos about it.
so much drama and crap going on with this
Did you
game.
watch the video of him reacting to the Japanese? He was the Japanese guy reviewing the game essentially,
I don't
and
think I saw that one.
and Ubisoft kept getting the video taken down.
I think I heard about that, but I don't think I actually watched that video.
I watch most of Asmongold's videos nowadays, but yeah, it was pretty interesting.
I no, that's right, because there was like different versions of the game and like stuff you could do like in the American version of the game that you couldn't do in the Japanese version when it came to like just attacking people or destroying like a temple or
Which is
something like that,
crazy.
where you could do that in the American version, but they wouldn't let you do it in the Japanese version. So I'm sitting there like, what are y'all doing? Just make
That's
one version
stupid.
of the game.
Yeah, one version. You have one job.
I think I remember hearing that passing, but I don't know how long ago that was actually super relevant. But I was like, I don't know. At this point, we're just release the game and just whatever's going to happen is going to happen with this game.
Yeah, for sure.
But it feels like the delay's done more negative for them because it's just more time for people to decide whether or not they don't want to buy this game. Is what it feels like. Obviously, there's people that are absolutely going to buy this game because they're huge Assassin's Creed fans. But there's a lot. It's just more time for just negative press to, whether it's legitimate or not. More time for negative press to just cycle the internet. Because at this point, people that aren't going to buy this game are just not going to buy it.
My guess is that obviously they've lost a lot of the audience because of the decisions that they made. But I think at the very least, this is still going to do good and make them money because of the Assassin's Creed name.
I guess here's the question: will it outsell
Black Flag?
No, not Black Flag. The
Valhalla?
No, it's not. It's not an Assassin's Creed game. It's the oh my god, why am I blanking on the name now? No,
I don't know
not that game. I don't think this game's gonna sell 20 million. It's the oh my god, I'm just having a massive blank on the game name. The one that came out in the fall that just bombed spectacularly.
Rise of
the
Ronin?
Veilguard. I don't know why I couldn't think of Dragon Age Veilguard. I couldn't think of the name to save my life.
Is it going to do worse than that? Absolutely not.
I guess here's the question: will it outsell it? And if
Yes,
it does,
it
by
will.
how much?
I by how much I don't know, but I think it's probably a given that it's going to sell. Because
Are you sure? Because we thought about that with
at
Dragon
all.
Age. We thought Dragon Age was for sure going to hit it was going to at least make its money back, and it didn't even come close to that.
I mean, obviously we know that there's gonna be a lot of people that aren't picking this game up now because of all the stuff behind it, the problems with it. It's just been.
Will it hit that 5 million mark of sales? That's the question.
How much did they spend on in developing this game?
I don't think we have like official numbers.
Because if you're talking that high of a number, like holy crap, I don't know, man. I definitely can't say I know for sure it's going to make that much money.
All we have are rumors, and I don't even know how accurate they are, but there was something, I don't know how well this is, from 9meters.com. It's just the first one that came up where they say it's rumored the budget was anywhere from 250 to 350 million, which is a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. I don't legitimately, I just don't know. It's really hard to guess.
At that price tag, I'm like, how do you make money if you spent that much money on the game?
That's stupid. I think it's stupid to spend that much money on a game. You don't need to spend that much money to make a good, fun game. That's all it needs to be, is a fun game.
I don't know if I believe the 350 million, 250 is like the high end. I still think it's
crazy.
I still think it's way too high.
And they
I
think
believe
they're going to make that back. I don't know. I don't know this money or this game.
The problem is until the game comes out, we're not going to really know how much they've actually spent on this game. It's all just rumor, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
These aren't like hard numbers, and they could change.
But we do know that they spend a lot because it is Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
it's a lot of money on Assassin's Creed.
It's six figures. So it's easily over $100 million. I'd say $150 to $200 million probably easily that they spent on this game.
I mean, I want it to make money because I don't want the other Ubisoft properties that I love to go away. I don't want
It's not going
them.
to go away. They're going to get
It'll
bought
get
out by
bought
another
out.
company.
Yeah, they'll get bought out, but it won't be the same. I don't know. And they're still like, I don't know how I feel about it. It's just craziness.
So if you stuck at $150 million, and obviously this is not one for one, but if everybody just bought the game with the $7 price tag, they would need to sell at least 2.1 million copies just to make their money back.
That's crazy, man.
Because what if it's if like they would say just the 250 is anywhere near accurate, they would have to sell 3.5 million to make the money back. So in theory, if they sold like 5 million copies, they would have made their money back and made a decent profit on the game. Obviously, if the 350 is more real, it's it keeps going up. But like,
yeah,
if this game could hit like around 5 million copies, it would absolutely make money.
Yeah, I just don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if it's going to sell like that. If it's going to do good.
But to be fair, like if you could have somehow managed to only spend 100 to 75 to $100 million, you don't need to hit these astronomical figures. Right. Like I don't think it's gonna hit 25 million, which is a lot of money that Wukong made. Like that's a very successful game, but I don't care how much money you spent on it. You're making a lot of money back.
Yeah, that's one I still gotta grab physically. That's one I really want to own physically because I know I'm going to like it a lot. So
I mean, I've liked what I played with the game, but I mean, I still think $350 million is a lot of money on a game.
It's a lot of money. It's unneeded too, because what goes behind a lot of that is actually a bunch of unnecessary bullcrap. So I mean, a lot of it. It's hard to believe that these companies spend that much money on a video game and expect to make double or triple their that makes so much profit. And it's like, you spent all this money, and some of my favorite games ever are these cheaper games where not a lot of money were put into them.
Because what they say, Assassin's Creed 1 that came out in 2007 cost anywhere from $15 to $20 million from them to develop. Crazy. With a marketing budget of $10 million. So we could say, what, $30 million?
That's crazy. Wow.
I'll put it in. We'll adjust this for inflation real quick. So 30 million in 2000. What's it? Came out in what?
2001.
No, it came out in 2007.
I mean 2008. Sorry.
They say September 2007, and then we calculate that to. I can only go to December 2004. Oh, it won't let me put
on
a whole
Google?
$10 million. I have to go to a different website.
Yeah, I would be curious to see how much inflation has done to that number.
So 30 million in 2007 be equivalent of $45 million. A little over $45 million. So you could even round them and say $50 million. Wow. Like the cost of just ballooned, even adjusted for inflation, it's not even close to what they're spending on these games.
That's crazy.
Because how much does Assassin's Creed sell? That's the next one.
I don't know. Once upon a time, it used to be it was along with Call of Duty for the biggest games of all time.
Yeah, so Assassin's Creed 1 with that budget sold 8 million copies, which means they more than doubled their money.
I wonder what they made for Valhalla. That's what I'd be most curious of, because it's it's obviously they had that like mid-sized game that came out after Valhalla, but Valhalla was the last like big massive game.
Yeah, because you got to realize on Assassin's Creed 1, we rounded up to say they spent $30 million on the development cost. Yeah, we said 30 million, and it sold 8 million copies at $60 a copy for that. So they sold, about $480 million what they made on that game.
That's wild.
I mean, they made bank on that game, but it's just harder with the ballooning development cost. Means it's just harder to see that kind of return when you could spend close to that much money just to develop a game.
Do we need a Dodge for the gaming industry, or Doge? Do we need a Doge for the gaming industry?
I get a lot of stuff is more expensive, but some of these costs just feel like 100%. If you dig into it, there's a lot of unnecessary costs when it comes to the development.
I believe that 100%. And I think the marketing budgets for games like, for instance, Assassin's Creed, what I think you were saying Shadows. If not, it was Assassin's Creed 1. The marketing budget, I feel like that could have been cut in half.
No, but I'm just looking at like realistically.
Dollars.
Are you telling me you can't make a game for $100 million and then not make it look absolutely good? Like you have to spend all this money on a game?
Yeah, it's just crazy to me. Crazy. Like, really?
I mean, I don't know. It just feels like the cost is ballooning more than it really needs to. Because then you look at like, well, it looks good. And it's like, yeah, but like, how well is the indie scene doing right now for games that don't have a budget, nowhere near probably even $1 million?
Yeah,
you have like 1 to like 10 people making some of these games, and they're absolutely, they look great and they play wonderful.
right.
So like, where's all this cost really going?
That's why I'm wondering. I think there's a lot of shady stuff in the gaming industry that we don't know about and that is not even thought about. I legitimately do feel that way. I feel like there's a lot of shady stuff that happens behind the scenes.
I just think there's a lot of necessary fat that needs to be trimmed to these studios. And just like, you could probably cut, $50-100 million off some of the cost of this, just because you're paying a lot of people that don't really do a necessary job. Which I think probably a lot of those people did lose their jobs in the layoffs. Like, yeah, studios that didn't make money, you're getting shut down. But like, let's be fair. How many of these people, they just, hey, we're making a lot of money, just hire a bunch of people, but it doesn't necessarily add to more sales of a game.
Right.
Like, very few games are going to sell more than 10 million copies.
Yeah.
It's just not a reality. Like, as outside of like your sports, like your yearly titles, like your Madden, your FIFA, a lot of which they make their money not on the game, but on the microtransactions. Like, how many games are actually selling these mass amounts of games that aren't, free to play games?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a great question. I wish I had the answer for any of that. I just don't get it. I think the ballooning.
Yeah, especially when you look at like single player, especially when you look at single player games. Like, you could cut like, as long as a game, is fun to play. Like, I think you're hyper fixating on the graphics aspect, when very easily, like, you just need it to be a fun game.
And this hyper
realistic, you don't, like, you could probably save money by not going after these hyper realistic graphics. Get more creative with an artistic view, where you can save money and not have to, like, use all this.
This is where Nintendo saves a lot of money in the actual development of a game, and the game happens to be really good. They don't put out garbage.
It'll look good 20 years later, like a lot of GameCube games.
Right. We talk about Wind Waker, and it's like, that game is beautiful today.
But yeah, you can still have like a serious story, but you can also be more creative artistically by not using a more realistic view, which I feel like for the longest time people were hyper fixated on. But I'm like, it looks great, but it also kind of feels a little soulless after a while.
Yeah,
that's why a lot of indie games are good, because they're saving money by a more it ages better, but the stylized graphics and stuff like that just look better. And you don't have to put as much detail into every little thing. Because like, a lot of these people, like, oh, look at the screenshot for like Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, oh, look at Aloy's eye, and you can see all the skin texture. I'm like, are you really putting that much effort into something nobody will ever see or ever really care about?
I mean, yeah, it's silly things like that just, and you think back to like, what all these retro games were doing. Like, they were not the video game development cost for some of those games, and why they made so much money is because the cost wasn't high. And that's why a lot of indie studios do these retro style games, because they know they still have to make some sort of money, but it's a cheaper cost of development,
which means you don't need to sell as many copies. I think that's the thing, because even with a lot of these AAA studios, even 20 years ago, like, they were made people that were passionate about it, making games that they enjoyed, that other people were also going to enjoy.
Yeah.
It was you could feel the passion in the game, where now it's just so corporatized and it's just so soulless. It's just like, why bother? Like, oh, we want GTA to be $100, so that's new standard. I'm like, you don't care. The industry doesn't care about making fun games. They just want to suck more money out of you. It's all these microtransactions. It's like, why bother buying these games at all, even if they're good, because they got a bunch of microtransactions in them? It feels so soulless.
Yeah, I agree. It does. It really, really does.
Which is why I think other studios out of, like, say, Korea and China are becoming more relevant, because you play these games like, oh, these people actually care about this game, and they're not hyper focused on the micro details, like, oh, look how detailed the hair looks or something like that. No, it's just a fun game.
Yeah,
and then people buy it, like,
Like
tens of
for a
millions of
while,
dollars,
it
tens of
made
millions of
sense
sales.
where these people were selling these consoles and wanted to show the consoles off. So getting hyper realistic for certain games makes sense, but not every single game. I
think
mean,
most
like I
games
said,
don't
some of
need
my
to.
favorite games are not visually appealing necessarily.
Nah, because I
So
mean, you look at, I mean, I guess the newer Final Fantasy games kind of, it feels like tread that line, but they sell well. But some games like like Uden Chronicles, uh, or some of the other RPGs and stuff like that, or what is it, like, the Kingdom Hearts games? They don't require
yeah,
these hyper realistic games, but people really love them because there's a lot of passion and innovation behind the scenes.
yeah, for sure, I agree.
Or even like, especially like if you look at like a lot of the older Final Fantasy games that people still go back and play to
They're
this day and stuff
timeless.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and then
mean,
you
look
get
at
games
the
like
Pixel
the near.
remaster games. Like those sold great. People are going back and playing all those games. They gave them a little fresh coat of paint, but kept them in a retro style. People still love them. They're
Yeah,
timeless games.
I mean, you look at games like the Legend of Heroes, the Trails games, other games like Scarlet Nexus and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Like these games just stick with that stylized graphic, and they're still fun, and people still enjoy these games.
Yeah.
Or like the other one that came out this fall. You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Of what?
The
What was it?
RPG that the JRPG that came out back out in the fall. I'm
Was it
trying to
Ease?
find. No, it was the big one that came out. It was up for Game of
Oh,
the Year.
Metaphor.
Yeah, like Metaphor. I'm terrible with names. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Like it doesn't 100% the game costs a fraction of a lot of these other games. And the art style is timeless. It looks good. And the
Beautiful.
game just plays fun. Like the focus is the gameplay first and foremost.
Yes.
The gameplay, the story, and then the graphics are like a secondary thing. And you go with that stylized form because you don't need these hyper realistic, because it just doesn't fit the game. Like not every game needs it. Like, yeah, sure, it fits with the Call of Duty,
Yeah.
but not every game necessarily needs to go that route.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. All right, what we got next?
Pokemon TCG Pocket, they say is estimated to have made essentially they say $500 million in 3 months, but essentially made over $500 million.
That's crazy.
Which would not surprise me. Like this
It
game,
doesn't
100%
surprise me either.
is 100%. This game probably cost maybe a few $1 million to actually make.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily surprise me or either, but I was skeptical when they very first announced this. I was like, why are they doing that? They already have an app to play Pokemon. But then I got the concept of what they were doing. It was a gacha game.
It's a gacha. It deals more with the card collection, and it's a more easier way to the card game because it's more simplified in a way. Because usually for that game to get cards, you have to like actually buy packs, and they give you a little card that you can scan to open the cards in the game and stuff like that. So it just feels like an easier way to go about. Because I mean, a lot of people probably play the game, but they might just open packs, collect stuff, and passively play the card game.
Yeah.
I mean, because you get the feeling like it's these decks are kind of simplified when you're kind of building them and playing them and stuff like that. Especially since you don't have like every single detail that the actual card game, like with strengths and weaknesses and other stuff, even when it just comes to the typing. So I think it's a really good. They've made a really good game. It is a gacha, but realistically you can just be a free to play player.
It's a really good game. Yeah,
I mean, fun with it.
They did it right in allowing you to open 2 free packs every single day and getting people to come to the app every day.
The extra $10 a month to have an extra one every single day,
which I do.
But even then, there's a limit to how many packs that you can open and spend. Like even if you're using like reward money, there's still like a hard limit that you can like open a day and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think they did this right. I would love to see. Look, I always liked that Nintendo started doing those mobile games because I thought most of them were fun. Like they did,
I think
Pocket Camp and Mario Kart, and then they did Super Mario Run, which is interesting. That's such an interesting game because you straight up buy it. There's no DLC. You just straight up buy the game for $10, and you got the full game. So I was like, that's a no brainer.
But I think games like these, like when you deal with like the handheld stuff like that, I think it makes sense, especially for like a card game, because it just makes sense. It's less physical space you have to deal with. You don't necessarily have to deal with that stuff. And if you just want to play a card game, it's just easy to hop on your phone, play some games, and like open a pack and stuff like that. And that's it. And then you can spend like 15 minutes a day on this app. It's something you open up, or you can spend a few hours if you really want to.
They've got the simplified battling to where it's quicker, easier matches, which is good. You can connect with anybody. You
Yeah,
can
they usually
connect
last
with
less than 5 minutes a
friends.
match.
Yeah, you can display your cards, your collection. So, like, you got good cards, you can show them off, and you can actually earn what is it, like tokens for people clicking on
Yeah.
liking your cards, and then they just added in the trading too, which I actually haven't even done. I tried to do it with you. I haven't traded
And
with
then
anybody yet.
it didn't work when I
It didn't
tried to
work,
do it.
but I do want to. I have that extra Mew, the gold Mew, and I need something. I think you had something else that I need, or whatever. Maybe the gold Charizard. I can't remember. Something you had a double of that was like a big. I'm
I'm not
missing.
sure.
I'm missing one Mew EX still.
I'm not like hunting like the like the special illustration rares. I'm just trying to like get like the base sets of like cards, and if I get those special
I
illustrations,
just
I'm
like
excited
pulling.
about.
I like pulling the
They're
cool
cool,
cards.
but they're less relevant because you can't really like sell them, and they usually have the same effects as the EX cards they're based after. They're usually just as good. It just has like a
Yeah,
different artwork to it. Or in real life, like if you're actually collecting the physical cards, the special illustration rares, like if you want to actually have valuable cards, it's those ones because they're harder to pull and they usually look pretty cool.
yeah. I just like the way they look, and it's
Yeah,
exciting to maybe pull a shiny card that might be something you don't have. Yeah, I don't have a
yeah.
completed deck at all of the first or of
I'm
Mystical Islands or
three.
whatever it's
I'm
called.
3 shy on the genetic apex, but I've got all for the of the base set, and I've got all of them for the what's it, the 1B1 that we had. The
Oh
Mystic
yeah,
one. Yeah, I was able to get
I'm
all
just
7
still really
7 of those
mad
cards.
about that one Mew EX. I need to have all 5. I just need that one. And it's like I don't want to keep pulling. I'm getting the same cards over and over and over, and it's
After a while, you
one
like
pack choice.
you just look for it in the random ones, the mystery
Yeah,
picks.
the
If you see it, you see it. If not,
and
like
I
I
have seen it, and I didn't get it a couple of
yeah,
times.
because
So
I still pay the 10, so I've got the 3 packs a day. So I use 2 of them on the new packs, and I use 1 for the genetic apex where I'm still hunting down 2 EXs and a
maybe
regular
I should
card.
do that. Yeah, because I do the premium too. Because I think it's worth it if you
Because it's just gonna
calculate
take a
everything
while. The
together.
problem is, like, there's 2 EXs out of the Pikachu pack and then, like, a regular card of the Charizard that I'm still hunting. So I'm like, I'm just
Yeah,
opening Pikachu packs till I get those. God knows how long it's gonna take.
I try to collect all of the limited time things that you can get, like the card sleeves and
Yeah,
the
usually those just playing the game, they're there long enough. You'll eventually, if you just play the game, especially if you
yeah.
do like the solo battles, which I do, and then
Like I
whenever
still
there's an
need
event for the PvP, you'll
yeah,
eventually get whatever you need to get pick those up. It just takes time because you can usually for those things you have to like complete challenges to like earn those
yeah.
rewards for that currency. You can't just buy those,
And
which I
then
think
there
is
was just
nice.
an update today. I don't know. Did you do the update where they added in? There's a special event that you can get 2 promo cards right now for the free pulls that you can do. Not the pulls, but
I think so
the free
because I think there's as of right
what are they
now
called?
there's one promo card that I'm missing, but they might not even release that one yet because I was doing the solo
You're
stuff.
only missing one promo card?
Yeah, I don't think they've
I've got
like
a
what
lot,
they've
but
done in the
I'm definitely
past.
missing quite a few.
I think it's the last one, but I don't think they've released that card yet, or it's probably coming up here soon. Because I've been doing the solo challenges for a while, where you get a bunch of those free cards, and
You see,
at
I
this
don't
point I'm just pulling doubles across the board.
I need to do more of the battles. That's my problem is
The solo ones are pretty easy.
I just like
The
pulling the
PvP
cards.
ones The PvP ones I do just for the hourglasses, and you don't need to win for those. You just need to like compete in like X amount of battles, which means you could join and immediately back out. I've rented that before,
You
where
can
people will
join and just
they'll
back out.
join. Yeah, because they're only going for the hourglasses. And the hourglass, you just need to play X amount of games. It's the other dust stuff where you need to actually win X amount of
So
games.
that's how you have so many hourglass. Okay, that makes more
That's
sense.
one way.
'Cause they
Usually, you look at the challenges. You have your daily login, and if there's a PvP or a solo, like PVE event, that's usually what I do to grind those little hourglasses. It helps.
That's wild. Yeah, I need to do more of those then because
And then
I had
because
no
you also
idea.
have the every month those little cards you get,
Yeah.
the blue pink cards. You save up. I save up those, and then every month when when the store resets, where you use those to buy like the hourglasses and stuff like that, I'll do that as well every month. Because usually I have like 400 of those, and I spend like half of those just buying the hourglasses that I can.
Yeah, I need to do more of that for sure. But
Because
yeah,
I think when this last pack opened, the new set, I think I had 5 sets of 10 pulls that I ended up using. So I got a good chunk of cards out of that. I think I've got about 116 of the new set,
oh
which means
really?
it's a grind at this point. But I was able to get a pretty much in like the first like week, I was able to get the bulk of those cards
That's
just by
crazy.
doing that. Yeah, I think I got a few EX and a few special illustrations and stuff like that. But now at this point, yeah, it's pretty much a grind.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's cool stuff.
Yeah, it's just what I do. So,
Yeah.
but since last year, I haven't actually used real money on the stuff.
Yeah, I
I
haven't
think I
used real
spent like
money on
10,
anything
15
since
bucks
last year
total
either.
early on. Because also, like if you use real money, it'll also use that. It'll use the special currency in conjunction with your hourglasses. So if you're trying to stack those up, you don't want to. You can't just like buy those. So I'm just like, I'll just stack these up, and then now when the next set comes out, I'll be sitting on a few hundred of those hourglasses, and I'll be able to buy a bunch of those packs. And then
Yeah.
after a while, it's just a matter of you've got your packs every pack a day that you can just slowly grind through and stuff like that.
Yeah, Josh
So
was
that's the
saying
route
it's
I was going
those
about.
promo are under the Wonder Picks right now. That's what I was trying to think of. They're free Wonder Picks too. You can do
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day.
I always go after the promo. Some of them are pretty cool too.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're usually tied to the PvE solo stuff that they have for X amount of days and stuff like that. So
Oh, I
I
didn't know.
grind those
Josh
out for the rewards.
said that you can only trade up to 4 diamond and 1 star, no 2-star, full immersive or crowns are tradable yet.
That didn't surprise me because they probably still want you to open the packs. So for the easy cards you can trade and stuff like that, but
That's
the super rare
that's
ones
still
like the
good, but
SIRs,
that's kind of lame because there's a couple of those like that. I don't have that gold Charizard yet. And
yeah,
then like for genetic Apex, for instance, there's still a lot of the common cards I need. So like it'd be cool to try to get some of those common cards. Then there's other common cards I have like 40 of. It's like, you know, I
yeah. I think
don't
the one
need.
common card that I'm missing, it's like a 3 diamond card. That's the Charizard. I'm sure if I just haven't been grinding the Charizard one for a while.
Yeah, I need that gold
Because I've got the
Charizard.
2 EXs out of the Pikachu that I still
Yeah,
need
I
to
got
pull.
the
So I'm like,
two
those are gonna take
EXs as
longer.
well.
I'll focus on those because
I've
it's just
got
the 3 cards. I
2 of
could
the
buy
gold
them with the pack
Mews, but
points, but I could buy those with the pack points, but it would eat up all my pack points, which I don't want to do because there's other other cards I would like to save up for those. But obviously, once I have all those, I'm not going to pull any more packs. So
yeah,
I guess it's like a wait and see.
yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, what do we got next?
Yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance has already hit 1 million copies. I think it was doing pretty well. I think it hit close to 180,000 concurrent players on Steam. I can double check that. Like it's not gonna break any records and stuff like that. Like it's not gonna sell like probably 10 million copies, but it's doing fairly well. The game probably will end up selling between probably 2 to 3 million copies, which will probably make money and then some.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it hit its all-time peak 6 hours ago with 190,000 and 194 over on Steam, so it's not doing too bad.
How many concurrent players?
As of right now, 130,000. 6 hours ago, it peaked with 190,000 concurrent players.
It's pretty good. I mean,
it's better than Dragon Age.
What have you heard about the game? I've heard quite a bit about the game.
Largely, people like it. There's like 1 or 2 things that if there's any drama that people don't necessarily like about it, but at large, people seem to enjoy the game if it's the type of game that you enjoy.
Yeah, my complaint about the first game was that what took me out of it was the realistic sword combat. I just hated so much. I hated that so much. And apparently it is the same with the second one. So I think it's just going to be a game that I don't end up playing. But overall, like I'm hearing great things about the game. People loving it. People that are into that style, like realism. Because it is like a realistic medieval game. And obviously the sword combat is so real that to me it's boring, but I get why people like it. So I mean that's good to see the game selling well. I know there's some weird DEI stuff with it, but you know, like there is in everything now.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to say because it really comes down to like there's one the any complete because there's one of the guys from the first game who's like your bro. There's the option to essentially gay romance him, which some people say doesn't
is that
really
what
fit
it
the
is?
story and stuff like that. Some people claim it's that they're throwing, a bone to get good reviews or something like that. The actual, director pushed back on that. But I think at large, it's people like the game. It's not a bad game. Like, yeah, the thing is with this, you could nitpick this with like literally any game that you want if you really want to get down the weeds. But for me, it was kind of like the first game. It's a fun game. I just didn't care for the combat.
Yeah. I definitely get that. I just didn't care for the combat either, so that was my problem with it.
But I mean, it's the other thing with a game that you get like 95% of what you want at a game. Are you gonna really hype it? There's like this 5% where you want to hyper focus on, but I mean that's just the nature of everything right now. You got to find like one bad thing to complain about. I do think there's people that will find everything to complain about, and you have the whole culture war stuff going on and stuff like that. So people find like anything they don't like, but largely I think the game's gonna do fine. Like it's not gonna sell 10 million, but I don't think this game needs to sell 10 million to be successful. So
no, I imagine they probably already made their money back, right?
Probably,
or at least they're close to profiting, I would think.
The problem is I have no idea.
I don't know either, to be honest.
According, they say estimates to the cost reached up to 1 billion CZK, which is roughly $40 to $45 million to develop the game. A realistic range to probably develop the game in.
Yeah, for sure.
So they said it sold 1 million copies, and it's a $70 game, I think.
Yeah, I think.
So yeah, they made their money because if a million, they sold over a million. If a million copies at $70 is $70 million. I don't know why I use a calculator. I'm just stupid.
A little bit.
It's pretty easy math. I'm so used to just pulling it up. So like, yeah, they've more. They need to sell like what, 1.5 million copies just to double their money, make their money back, and then essentially make the money that it cost them to develop the game in pure profit. So yeah, this game's gonna do fine. It'll probably sell closer to 2 million. All said and done, which will more than
so it's going to keep selling.
Yeah, more than triple the cost of the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so at this point they've already made their money back very easy because they didn't spend $150
for the studio then.
The game.
Yeah,
and you can look at the game like, yeah, it may not look as good as other games, but if the game is just a good game at core for the gameplay, like you don't need to spend $200 million on a game.
I agree. I mean,
you can spend 80, 90 and still have it very like. Does mocap in a game really matter other than the fact that it adds more cost to the game? Almost guaranteed adds more cost to the game for those more realistic movements other than using the old models where it might look a little bit more janky, but
I mean, at the end of the day, all that matters is the game is fun. That's all that matters.
Yeah. I've seen people complain about it, saying like, yeah, but like mocap is neat, but like if it's part of the ballooning cost of these games, is it really necessary?
Is it worth it at the end of the day?
Like, do people really care outside of like, technically looks great. Like, as long as the game's fun and the story's great, like most people probably wouldn't notice.
Yeah, for sure.
That and they say GTA parent company essentially they're hinting at Switch 2 support. 100%. All these studios already have the specs for the Switch 2 as far as the hardware. If we get support, that's great. That just means, what game are they actually going to bring over? Because 100% GTA 6 is not coming to Switch 2.
You really think that?
I don't think it'll be. I don't think it's got the hardware to run the game for what they're.
I'm back and forth.
I think it would struggle to run. I think it'd struggle to run GTA 5 realistically.
No. Switch 2?
Yeah.
Struggle to run GTA 5, a PS3 game?
Well, they wouldn't be porting that version. They'd be porting the PS4, PS5 version of the game realistically.
I'm back and forth on it because I'm like, they obviously want to be in that install base. It's going to be for the Switch 2 because they're obviously going to get those. A lot of money.
I think you're going to get all their older games, but
you have to think.
I don't think GTA 6 is just it's not going to be able to run on that. Because it's going to be based off current gen hardware, and like let's just be fair, the Xbox One and the PS5 just have significantly better hardware than what the Switch 2 is going to have. So I think we'll probably get I think we'll get all their older games coming over, but I don't think we're going to get like brand new games not from Rockstar.
Gotcha. Josh wants your opinion on floppy drive.
I don't know what the floppy drive is. maybe let me double check.
As he's looking it up, you got mine sitting right here. I still got to install. I got to find another GameCube to mod because I already have.
Oh, is this like the GameCube mod?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can play.
What is it? Since you know what it is, just to explain it to everybody.
Basically, it lets you play all your game backups on the console. You can put the entire library on the console without ever having to put in a disc and play it. It also offers other features, such as like different menus and the GBA games with the Game Boy player and stuff like that.
So is this kind of like the EverDrive version of it? You're just modding your GameCube just to be able to play all the GameCube games.
Yeah, so it would be like an EverDrive. They call it like an ODE, optical drive emulator, because it's emulating a disk drive. But yeah, it's like the
you're
same
still using the
concept.
actual hardware, kind of like with the EverDrive. It's still maybe not uses the cartridge, but it's still using the actual hardware, which is ideal for running these games.
What's cool about floppy drive is that it doesn't take away the disk drive like a lot of ODEs do. It's a simple mod. You don't have to solder anything. It has instructions in here on what to do. You just have to fold stuff and put it in the GameCube. So it's a no solder mod. So like it's a no brainer.
So you're just emulating the actual game itself. You're not emulating the hardware, which is usually the issue that you run into with emulations is the hardware that you have to emulate, not the software.
Right. You're just running the straight ISO,
which essentially simulates it, which means more or less it should just play just fine because you're still 100%. Using the actual GameCube.
Yeah, I think it would be great mod in my GameCube, which is the like previous mod that was really popular for the GameCube, and I have not noticed a single issue with a single game I played, and I've played it a ton. So this is a new better mod that adds other features like kind of quality of life features to the GameCube. So it doesn't just emulate those games. Like there's a lot of stuff that you can do, but it's the go-to one now.
Yeah, I think using this in conjunction with something that properly mods the GameCube, that properly outputs to HDMI and properly scales the resolution would work really, really well.
Yeah,
because if you're still using your red, yellow, blue wires, whatever they are, if you're still using your component, the original component cables, you run into an issue of having to use a little box to go from the component to HDMI, which is going to downgrade it, and it's still running into the issue where it's not designed for modern televisions with the resolution issue. So if you can solve both of those, the hardware still works fine. I think it'd be great to go after.
I mean, HDMI mods are out there for the GameCube. I just refuse to do it because one, I specifically only play it on CRTs intentionally. I play it on my PVM, and then I play it with a component cable, so it's at its highest quality. And also it's a cut mod, so you have to actually cut into the case, which I don't like. You're cutting the original hardware.
So if you can find a second hardware,
there are other options. So what I do is if I want to play on a modern TV, I use a RetroTink, which does not downgrade the quality at all. You can actually add scan lines. You can add whatever you want. I have the RetroTink 5X Pro, which you can run it straight into the RetroTink that runs to your TV, and there is zero downgrading. The only bad side to the RetroTink hardware is it's not cheap. There's the RetroTink 4K that's out right now. It's like $700.
I have the 5X Pro. 4K, it's $750 right now. It looks really big though. It's got a hold-on remote. It's got it's got an SD thing to it.
Yeah. I got my 5X Pro sitting right over here for when I want to capture footage or play game or stream games and stuff, and I use it just to play on modern hardware. That's the one I'm going to upgrade to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell this one. It's selling for around $300. The one I have right now, I'm going to end up selling it at some point. I don't know when, and then just upgrading. And I'm just going to get it through like sales. I'm going to sell stuff off and then get it, so that way I'm not spending really anything on it.
You got all
But,
the specs on screen. Like it's
but yeah,
I'm
the
sure it works
RetroTink
great.
4K is amazing. Everyone says it's
The
absolutely amazing.
it's just that $750 price tag that'd be
Yeah,
hard to overcome.
it's the price tag that's but it also has a lot of hardware in there that's causing it to be that high. He's not just pricing it that high on purpose. He's done whole breakdowns of the cost of everything, and it is very costly to develop. There's a lot of R&D involved in that. You have to keep in mind this guy does this full time.
Yeah.
So this is like top of the line, best that you can do. If you care about image quality, resolution, frame rate, looking like it's intended to look, and having no lossless video or anything like that, it's top of the line. But I have the 5X Pro, which how much is that right now? I got it in 2020, the 5X Pro. I think it was
some of their smaller ones were under.
I think when
I think it was the 5 and the 4K that were over $100. I think everything else was sub 100.
Yeah, the 5X Pro is the one below the 4K. It's been out for a while now at this point, but
So
that's
you can
the one
get
I
something.
have.
You can get one of those affordable. It just depends on like what you want. Or
Yeah, and the 5X
quality
Pro
stuff.
is good enough for most people. Like for most people, that's good enough. It does a great job. But if you have like a 4K OLED TV or something like that, that's where it shines, really.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
guess
it also
before-
does 1440p and stuff like that. So that's nice as well if you're playing like on a monitor and things like that.
Yeah, so I guess before we get into the big news, because I did have this stuff that I picked up last week. God knows when I'll ever get around. Well, some of these I bought just to have for a collection. Some of these I bought I get around to because I never bought the Pikmin games. So I
love it. Yeah, I have that too.
It was like $20 for the used copy. They had 4 there.
You
as
paid
well
$20 for that. That's a good deal. Those are really fun games. I don't have Pikmin 4 though.
I saw it there. I think it was used for. It was either new or used, but it was like $70.
I won it. I replayed 1 and 2 on that, and they were great.
Another game I've always wanted to play this game. I never got around to it.
I like it.
It was used. All these are used. It was like $15.
It's a Souls. It's a Souls light game though. Just so you know.
Yeah, well, I was cheap. This was like $6. Morrowind for this. I didn't buy this because I have it on Steam, and I don't necessarily care for the game. It's not my greatest game, but it's an old game.
I love Morrowind.
It's damaged, but it still has the instruction booklet in it as well. So
that's cool.
For $6 just to have it,
starting you a good retro collection now. You've been picking up a lot of stuff.
The Game of the Year collection. I think it's the only game that I don't have the hardware to actually play this because I don't have the original Xbox.
You got an Xbox One though. You can run it.
Yeah, I didn't know if it did that. These other two I did know. The same thing why I had it, but it was cheap, $6 at GameStop, was New Vegas, the Ultimate Edition.
Probably my favorite Fallout for sure.
Oh yeah. Cause I was sitting there like even if I never play this version of it, like I just have it to have it, and it was $6, so why not at that point? And then the only one that I probably picked up of the older games, I was like, I might actually want to attempt to play, and it was just as cheap, was Enchanted Arms.
I have that game. It's good. I like it. It's a good game.
It's the one where I was like, it looks interesting. I don't know anything about it. Back when you still have the old, like the fact that these all have the old, the
manuals with them is nice.
Because normally you'd expect them to just only have the game in the case and just throw out the booklet.
Yeah, GameStop does weird stuff like that.
And I need to go back. I didn't see it, but they had for the DS Age of Empires Mythology on the DS, which is a game I never
didn't know that they had anything besides Age of Kings.
No, it's on the DS. I didn't get around to picking it up, but if it's still there when I go in next time, I'll pick it up.
Yeah, I had no idea.
It's been there for like 2 weeks already.
Age of Kings on the DS.
It was like I think it was like $30 and stuff like that. So,
I'll definitely have to look into grabbing that then. That's cool.
I was hoping it's gonna be the Age of Empire, just the main Age of Empires one that you had. But I was like, well, if it's here next time I come to buy it, I'll pick it up.
That's some good pickups, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's like the fact that some of those are just like dirt cheap, where it feels like I don't know, maybe they're cheap online, but it's just like it's just nice to have. Like I'll probably never play some of those games on that version because I've got better ways to play it, but just to have it because they're old, memorable games, good memories and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. I guess a few of the pickups I already got put away, so I can't show. I'll show the one I got today for a really good deal though. So give me a second.
Just a second. Yeah, no. I think all those games. Yeah, I think it was. I think it was like $106 after tax. So maybe one of those games cost a little bit, cost close to $20. Oh, that's really cool. I like how you have the CRT in a microwave as well. Got to protect it.
Yeah, I got that. It's the Collar Track Plus. Paid $20 for it. It's a very uncommon CRT.
It's got like a TV inside a piece of plastic.
Yeah, it's got the plastic. You rarely see those, and they're usually very expensive now. It's got that plastic covering, but it's also a radio. It was meant for like traveling and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, something that size. Yeah, you'd expect it's just easy to move around.
The guy that was selling it said they bought a camper and it was in it. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it's that type of CRT, but it's I don't get CRTs that are RF only, like because RF first of all is very bad quality.
It's such an old format for TVs to even use RF.
Yeah, I just don't like RF only CRTs, but it's the only one I own, and I made the exception because it is a pretty uncommon CRT, and it's for things like the NES and stuff like that won't matter as much. And
it's crazy to think that we used to use RF just to watch TV.
I know, it is crazy. Yeah, RF's not good. I mean, I can't defend RF at all, but
no, it's still used, but it's such a rare thing to be used anymore.
I mean, yeah, it's still on modern TVs, which is crazy. Like there's still RF on my my TV has RF.
It's still relevant to use. It's just not used as a primary source for it's used in a very specific way.
But I really only got that because of the way that it looks. It was a white CRT and it's uncommon, so I thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can move on to some of our big stuff as we hit 2 hours live right now.
Oh, dang.
I just all the time, like, I guess we should hit these up.
Probably better hit those.
Just haven't done a pickups in a while on the podcast, but
yeah.
Essentially, we were kind of getting what we thought was the confirmation with the Switch 2 Joy-Cons to essentially be used kind of like a mouse.
Yeah.
Especially with some of the patents and stuff that we've seen. It's pretty much more or less, there's going to be probably 2 games that ever use this feature, but it's there.
Yeah, we can show the patents if you want to pull them up. The patents are on there. There's 4 patents that they show. This essentially confirms 100% that it does have mouse capabilities, because we didn't actually for certain know that. We saw the trailer that showed them sliding it around, but we didn't know what it was for. Well, this pretty much confirms, it's got mouse capabilities.
How it's ever going to be used, 100%, 99% of games aren't ever going to use this. I can guarantee it.
No, but I bet a lot of people playing first-person shooters and stuff like that will end up wanting to use this.
I don't know how relevant it would be. Like, I can see the problem is it was like some of the stuff that we used, like, hey, the mouse can do this, and it was only ever used in 1-2 switch, and nobody else ever even touched.
Yeah, maybe we get a new Mario Paint.
Maybe this seems neat, but I just feel like the vast majority of games they're not going to bother with it.
It's going to go the way of I can see this going the way of HD Rumble, where it becomes a feature they don't even advertise anymore.
It's there, people want to use it, but it's most games they're not even going to bother with it, especially if it's a multi-platform game.
But I do think that this is probably one of the new gimmick, because every single Nintendo console now has some sort of gimmick to it. It's what can you do on a console that looks pretty close to what the original console looks like? I think this is one of those gimmicks that they implemented, and I think it could be a good one. It could be used, especially I can see a lot of indie games using this feature and stuff that's not from Nintendo too.
The only question that I have is this is more than less, it's going to require some kind of table or hard surface at the very least,
right?
And well, if it's in a living room, you're not really going to have access to that. So a lot of people are probably going to take that into mind of you're going to have to.
I've thought about that a lot. Yeah,
you're going to run into that issue to where it's neat, but
if I'm not playing at my desk, I don't know how I would use it.
Yeah, which only probably a handful of games would ever use it, or you'll have the option to play like this if you really want to, and the option to not use it.
I was joking, but I do really hope that we get a new Mario Paint. That would be perfect for this. And we haven't got one since the Super Nintendo. I think we got the 64DD Mario Artist games, so we did get those, but they didn't come out here, obviously. But I think a new Mario Paint would actually be pretty cool to show off this feature.
Yeah, if they ever actually want to bring it back.
I remember the first time playing Mario Paint was at your house. I had never
I never had Mario Paint.
I swear that I played. It must have been Matthews, and I played
Okay, it
it
might have been
at.
because I've never had the game.
Oh, okay. It was at. It must have been Matthews then, because I didn't have it. I played it and tried it. I was like, this is pretty dang cool because it has like extra mini games in it too and stuff that you can do, like a music thing. No, what I played first time at your house was Super Mario All Stars. Sorry, that's what I
Yeah,
played
that
at your house
makes a lot more sense.
because I never had it. Yeah, I was like, this is crazy playing the first game remade on the next console.
I actually prefer it that way. I think it looks so much better.
It
But that's
looks
the only ever way I
good.
played it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. I mean, I bought the Wii game when they re-released it and stuff, the box set. I thought it was cool.
That's all because it's like one game. It's like 3 or 4 in one game or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a neat concept. Remaking it from the previous generation. It was only one
I mean, the
gen
game
old,
plays the same as just new hardware, so they could actually make it look good.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
there's actually stuff to the background and stuff like that. That's like the one thing that I've always preferred it.
Yeah.
More or less it plays the same, but it just looks so much better. It actually looks like it's in the Mario world.
It's really
not
neat
like
playing Super Mario Bros. 3 in it. It's pretty cool.
Or it kind of looks like you're playing the Super Mario World level graphics almost.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really neat for sure.
We also got some news from they say ex Dragon Age dev. I don't know how old this is, but it was quoted
This is
saying,
like just a few hours ago.
Yeah, it's I'd quit if you force a single player RPG to go live service. Which, I'm sorry, a live service game doesn't fit. I don't know why you'd even want to take a single player game live service. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
You might want to read their full quote because it's kind of interesting. I don't know whether I believe them or not, but
I was trying to pull up the right one. There's a lot of quotes in this. I was trying to find that exact. Like half what I was reading was like different quotes, and it's not like one long quote. Where is it? I can't find it. I don't know if you can find it or not.
Yeah, I've got hold on, maybe. Look, I'm not a fancy CEO guy, said Laidlaw, but as someone said to me, the key to the successful single player IP success is to make it purely a multiplayer game. No, not a spinoff. Fundamentally change the DNA of what people loved about the core game. I'd probably quit that job or something. And then also said, my advice to EA, not that they care. You have an IP that a lot of people love. Guider says deeply at its height is sold well enough to make you happy, right? Look at what it did best at the point where it sold the most. Follow Larian's lead and double down on that. The audience is still there and waiting.
You just need to make an actual good game that people want to play.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I mean, I'd agree with that.
Pretty interesting that somebody said they would have quit if they Yeah,
because these were statements by the EA CEO. I was like, oh, maybe we'll look at more live service. I'm like, how's that going to fix your problem other than just, well, the game, we didn't make our money back on the sale, so we're just going to nickel and dime the people that do like the game to make their money back. Yeah,
crazy. I mean, I'm like kind of shocked that they came out and said this because it's like
it's EA. Like, are you really surprised? EA hasn't changed in the past 20 years. They're the same scummy EA. Ubisoft has been more out and open about how terrible of a company they are.
Yeah, true.
Like, how many sports games does EA make where they the loot box gambling thing is like how they make their money, and they just don't
change
care.
Nothing but a roster.
Pretty much.
People still buy it.
Like the only reason they've kind of gone away from that is because the EU is kind of forcing them to, as far as like the loot box and stuff like that.
Let me ask you a question. Do you see
to not do it?
Madden, college football, and all those sports games coming back now to Switch too?
Maybe. I think it's probably a lot more. If it's easy for them to port, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think I for sure seeing those.
Will it be the best version of the game? Probably not, because you had the same issue with the basketball game, the NBA game, where they ported over and then it played just absolutely terrible because they clearly didn't care.
Yeah,
to do anything with they didn't even put in like all of like 10 minutes worth of effort in the port.
Yeah.
So I think they'll look at it. If there's a market there, but yeah, who knows? At the end of the day, it's kind of hard to tell.
It'll be interesting to see.
most people that own a Switch, or if they were going to buy a sports game, most of the people wouldn't buy it for the Switch. They'd buy it, on a like a PlayStation or on PC or something like that.
You have to think about those people that will only have a Switch too and stuff like that. There are a lot of those people too.
Yeah, but most of those people are
Especially
usually
kids
going
and
to
stuff
be
like that.
kids. Like, let's be fair.
Yeah.
This is a family. Most people that own a Switch, that will own a Switch 2, own it for the Mario games.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, for
most
sure.
of the people that only have the one console, it's usually going to be parents buying a console for their kids, and that's going to be it. And if they do end up getting a sports team, it's only going to be one. You're not going to get one every single year. Like, let's just be fair. So I think there's a market there, but it's not like they're not going to make like $10 million off of bringing this game to Switch. I just don't think the market's there, because there is a lot of overlap. People that own a Switch, that own an Xbox or PlayStation, or play on PC and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, it's still going to play better on those other consoles just because they've got more powerful hardware. And so,
yeah, for sure.
I do think it's more of a realistic than it was with the Switch, just because of how underpowered the Switch was even when it came out. So,
yeah, it was already underpowered by a few years before it even came out.
I do find this funny that we're talking about the GTA 6 release window when I was pretty obvious this game was going to come out in the fall. They said 2025, and that pretty much means it's going to come out holiday season.
Yeah, I think it was just that people were worried it was going to get delayed again, so they reconfirmed that it is coming out this year. And to not
considering
worry
how long
about
they've
delay.
realistically probably been working on this game, they probably announced it once they were fairly confident this game was going to come out.
Yeah, so according to this, it is reconfirmed that yes, it's going to come out in the release window. So
they say fall 2025.
No, there's no plans for this being pushed forward again, is what they're saying.
So pretty much, if you're planning on a game coming out this year, you either need to come out before fall, or you need to push it to next year. Any other game that comes, like, I think we already know this game's going to win Game of the Year. It's going to sweep every single game awards, any category it's in, and it's going to dominate the market, like the
potentially the biggest game of all time. I mean, there is very much potential there that this is the best-selling game of all time. Like, the potential is there.
It's trying to pull up what we. Well, I mean, is it really going to outsell Minecraft? Because that's considered the best-selling game of all time with 300 million copies sold.
It's on so many systems and stuff, too.
But if you take out Minecraft, GTA 5 is considered the best-selling game at all time. It sold about 210 million copies, which is
it's fair to say that this will be the biggest launch for a game ever, because this has been so highly anticipated. GTA 5 has been on 3 separate generations. Like, this has been a long running, it's been a long time since we got a mainline or a GTA game at all. So I think it's going to be one of the biggest launches ever. I mean, so much so that they're talking, the potential of this being priced at like $100, and it doesn't matter. Look,
I don't think it needs to be priced.
That's a big the thing is, like, it doesn't matter. It's still going to sell. It's GTA.
So why bother? And they're going to make money off of GTA Online. So I just don't think there's a need to have any bad press by making this game $100, even though it would sell just fine. Yeah. I think leaving it, they could probably sell this game. They could sell this at $50, and they're still going to make money.
Yeah, they're going to make money.
I saw it afterwards because the next highest selling game is Wii Sports at just shy of 83 million. Though. But I'm like, that was like essentially that's like 99% of a pack-in game. Why would you count it? Funny enough, though, because then you look at the next best-selling game, they consider it Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. You combine both the Wii U and the Switch version. Yeah. At just about 200,000 copies shy of 76 million copies.
And the Wii U version of that is like 7 copies.
Yeah. I don't think it's crazy because, I mean, there are games that sell this a lot, but like the vast majority of games aren't even breaking 20 million copies.
Right. Yeah. Crazy stuff.
Because I was looking down this list because it's like, I guess you have PUBG on there, Red Dead 2, Terraria, Super Mario Bros. You have like Overwatch, The Witcher 3, a bunch of Pokemon games, New Horizons, Call of Duty, like big games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But very quickly from the 80s and 70s and 60s and 50s, does it really start dropping off as far as like when you're looking at like the best selling games?
Right.
Precipitously drops off.
Yeah.
But it's all the games you would expect, like games that are highly rated, that would get this close. So I think for sure. I think it'll outsell GTA. Maybe it'll outsell Minecraft. Who knows?
It's possible.
I think it's a reality. I mean, it's not going to hit that, and like it's probably going to take a few years to outsell GTA
And this will
5, but I
probably
think it
be on
absolutely
the
will.
PS6 and PS7 as well.
Oh yeah, because until the next game comes out, because it's going to have the online component tied into it, so
Yeah.
it's they're going to have to port it so they can continue milking GTA
Yep.
6 online for the next decade before you get GTA 7.
100%.
And apparently, what's it? Resident Evil Reverse is shutting down because apparently Capcom wants to do something new with the IP. What kind of thoughts did you have on this? Because right before, as I was going through reading some of these notes, I didn't realize this was a thing until like an hour before we went live.
Yeah, I mean, it's a multiplayer only game. My assumption is that the player base is just not there. I
Usually,
don't
how
know.
multiplayer games work, once it's not making money, it's not profitable. That's when they start to go away from it.
Yeah, it's I guess a little about it. It says Resident Evil Reverse was developed in celebration of the 25th anniversary of the Resident Evil series, and your overwhelming support for the game has far exceeded our expectations since the time of the release. Now that we've reached a new turning point for the series, we feel that Reverse has served its original celebratory purpose. We are incredibly grateful for your warm support for Reverse. We deeply apologize for bringing you this disappointing news. And then just as like a little side factoid, IGN gave it a 5 out of 10 in October of 2022.
Yeah, because this game is only 3 years old.
Yeah, it's not old.
Yeah, funny enough, on Steam with 2,800 reviews, it's sitting at a 34% mostly negative.
Yeah, I
People just
haven't
did not
played
like the
it,
game.
but it never looked good to me, and it just didn't interest me in multiplayer only Resident Evil like that. Like, it would have been different. It was like a multiplayer mode, or you could play through the game with another person, or, but like a whole game that's multiplayer only just didn't interest me in the slightest. I
Yeah, I was trying
didn't
to pull
think it looked good.
I want to pull up the Steam chart for this game to see how bad it actually is. There are currently 39 players on Steam right now.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
It peaked 24-hour peak at 67.
Those 39 are probably only there because it's shutting down now.
Oh, well, the one dude just posted something on Steam that's like, I got all achievements like back in like a few weeks ago.
That's funny.
But its all-time peak of 2,100 players was
that is bad.
Back on the 23rd, 24th of October.
That is really bad.
When the game came out.
That's crazy.
Like,
wow.
Because I was looking back, it's like, oh, look at this. At 5 a.m. UTC, on February 3rd, it had 6 players online. Like, this game was averaging less than 25 players for like the last week.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like when you go back just 1 year, it's for like the past year up until pretty much the announcement came out since in 2025, it's averaging less than 25 players, and then pretty much since the January 27th, it's been averaging up and above 50 players, but that's probably because of the game shutting down. So people that want to go and grind for the achievement,
finish off what they need to get and stuff.
100% that boost is just people grinding for achievements, because once the game's
100%.
offline, you can't get those anymore. So whatever stuff you can get, because also Steam's got different trophies and stuff, or like cards you can sell. So once this game's offline, you're thinking like, oh, I get these achievements, maybe get some cards I can try to sell and make a little bit of profit. They'll be worth more than the 3 cents I can sell them for normally. If you're into that
pretty much.
100% the player numbers across all the platforms are probably maybe averaging like 100 players a day, which is not enough to warrant probably the cost of servers. Yeah,
that's my assumption as well.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to play it, now's the time to do it, where there's at least some people online. So you have until June. So if you want to grind, I don't know how hard those achievements are going to be.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But yeah, it seems like everybody just collectively just hates the game. So I guess it's well deserved. Like it. Nobody's gonna forget that game. It was very obviously a bad decision. You're looking at that because the Steam, it maxed out at 2,100 people when the game first launched. You're like, did this game even make its money back?
It's hard to say. It's really hard to say.
100%. This game, did this game even break 100,000 sales? Like, I hope they didn't spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah, I hope not either. I mean, they're shutting it down for a reason. It just doesn't have the
I mean,
So
based off the Steam numbers, it's massively, unprofitable.
yeah, for sure. All right. Do we have anything else for this week?
No, I think we got everything.
All right, cool. Well, we appreciate everybody that's watching live, and then obviously if you're listening, definitely either give us a like, a subscribe, or follow, or whatever it is, depending on the platform you're on. I did want to shout out a thank you that we charted 5 charts on Good Pods again this week, and we got pretty high rankings, so that was really, really cool to see and wake up to. So appreciate everybody that's downloading, streaming, listening to the podcast on any platform. You do very good on the ones I've never even heard of before until now. So pretty cool stuff.
Always good to hear. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and then of course we'll be live again next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday, like we are every week on YouTube, Twitch, and all the platforms. And then every Saturday we stream a game as well. And then what are we streaming tomorrow?
I believe it's Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Yeah, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. We both wanted to play and check out this game since we like Borderlands, so good excuse to check it out. It's cross-platform, so that I've got an Xbox One. I don't know what you have it on, but I'm
gonna play on PC. So
you're gonna play on PC. So yeah, we're looking forward to
the option.
Yeah, for audio listeners, obviously this particular stream will already be over. We are live every Saturday playing a different game, so definitely check us out. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can follow us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of those. That definitely all helps out a lot. And just stay tuned on what we got coming up. We got some big plans of stuff. I got a new video I'm going to be filming tomorrow, so I should have another video coming out. And then I'm going to film Mark doesn't know yet, but I'm going to film another video with him tomorrow too. Before we go live, one that I wanted to talk about that he would like. So definitely stay tuned. And if you're not subscribed on YouTube yet, it does help out a lot. So think about doing that, and we will see you all.